How's it going, everyone? Welcome to PanGeekery Podcast, a live weekly video podcast covering all things geek from an all-diverse perspective. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about TV, movie, films, video games, covering all the nooks and crannies of fandom. It's going to be fun. How's it going, everyone? Yay!
Yay! We're back!
I know. We're back. I know. We're back from our 1 week hiatus, but we are ready to talk about all the crazy things that have happened in the ensuing 2 weeks. So, first of all, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors, Jimmy John's. It takes a freak to make a sandwich that'll make you freak. And also to our location sponsors, Filipino Worker Center.
Woo!
Yeah.
It's where we're streaming from right now. So,
It's the Batcave.
how have your
You gave away our location.
Oh, I know. Somebody lock the doors.
So that's Earl. I'm Jen.
I'm Kaitlyn.
And I'm Walter.
Yay. So how have y'all been doing this past 2 weeks? Wow.
Whoa, whoa,
Oh my
whoa,
God.
Whoa.
Is there an
Feedback.
echo in this room?
Anyway,
So how have y'all been doing these past 2 weeks?
pretty good. So I just finished Detroit Become Human.
Nice.
I finally finished it. Still in love with Connor, but
Sweet.
the ending is not as rich as I hoped. I think it branched off into many different directions, and I think it kind of like fell trapped to the whole Bandersnatch syndrome, you know, like Bandersnatch on
right.
Netflix, where like you're paralyzed by different choices which ultimately don't really have consequences to match the amount of choices being given. You know, it seemed like it was more novel to have variety of choice versus depth of quality of story. So I was a little disappointed by that. But then I started playing Rise of the Tomb Raider, which Earl is in and is a main character of. Such a trip to find out.
I bore witness to this.
Yeah. She was in my room.
We were at Jen's house and Earl came on the screen as
Right.
Jonah
Yep.
from Tomb Raider.
That's
and
right.
we were flipping balls.
Yeah, it's like-
How's it feel to like hear his voice?
It was
It is so
weird.
strange.
Like every 5 seconds, weren't we like, oh my God, it's Earl?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just
It's
like that.
Everyone
great.
else is acting, but then it's just Earl.
Yeah.
Not that you're not acting, but it just
just
sounds
said
like
you
you.
weren't.
It's like Laura and Earl.
It's Laura and Earl.
It's
He-
great.
Honestly, his voice is not a ton different from mine.
No,
it's
that's
like,
what I mean.
It
Yeah.
sounded
you.
exactly
It's
like
Earl.
you.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No, I'm glad.
Onward.
Thank you for playing.
Of course, I look forward to it. It's very exciting.
I enjoyed watching. So this week I dyed my hair blue.
Yeah.
Aquamarine. It's time to be-
Subversive.
I know.
Well, I had to do it for the commercial I told you guys that I booked. Turns out that no one really knows who the client is. It was a top secret.
Ooh.
So it might be some big client like Facebook or something. We're not really
Right.
sure. But so they paid for it, and then I filmed a commercial, and then
Nice.
I filmed the promo video for the Seed and Spark campaign for the next film that I'm going to
Nice.
be
Oh, cool.
directing. Yeah, so that's fun.
And you can't tell
Cool.
us
When's
yet
that Seed and
until
Spark
that
going up?
commercial
It
comes
should be going up end of this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
in the commercial,
Stay
you'll tell
tuned
us
for
when
it.
it comes out.
I shall. I
Yes.
shall.
Or we'll see it on billboards somewhere.
Yeah.
Mayhaps.
For me, like, well, I'm just glad to put out our WonderCon video that
Yeah.
we put
Mhm.
out.
It
and
looked
It was
great.
awesome, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate
You
it.
edited
Like,
that?
yeah,
was
Wow,
great.
you can do
shot and
something.
edit. Yeah. I actually have a
We keep
function,
you around
right?
for something.
That was good.
Not just your camera equipment.
Right.
Yeah, and so that was cool. Like, I appreciate all the positive comments and the support that we got from it when we released it. I'll probably come out with a few more other material from WonderCon. Like everyone that we interviewed, I think you ladies did great interviewing those folks and all the people that we spoke to. Thank you so much. And then I filmed a short film and did some pickup shots.
Oh,
How
cool.
was that?
It was great. It was like it's gonna be so grindhouse, kind of like it's gonna be interesting short
Ooh.
film. Like
Is this the one you were growing your beard out
yeah,
for?
yeah.
Oh, that's
and
why you
that's why I
shaved
shaved
now.
it now.
And,
'cause
and you
I'm
were
done.
fighting, like, right?
Yeah, we did like
6 fight
did some
scenes.
gunplay and some stick fighting stuff.
Wow.
Sexy.
It's gonna be interesting.
So is it
yeah.
an action film? What?
It's gonna be an action, slightly comedy grindhouse.
Okay.
Okay.
There's gonna be some
Nice.
graphic violence, so
How
looking forward
graphic?
to it. Like heads exploding.
Oh, and
Well, we-
beards are involved, so
I'll let
that's
you
how
guys
you
know.
know.
Sounds like
it's
it
gonna
would
be
be
very
fun.
graphic.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
So, yeah. Oh no! One last thing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then I did that interview with
Oh, yeah,
Strength and
yeah.
Gaming.
Yeah, cool.
Oh,
Those
I
guys
saw
are
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Strength and
Cool.
Gaming, for having me on your show. Strength and Gaming podcast. They had a celebrity gamer episode, so it should be coming out soon. We'll let you guys know. They were great folks.
Yeah, they're fun, dude. Oh,
Damn.
game. Someone's got
Asked
jokes.
who the celebrity was.
We're like, I'm gonna stab you in the heart with Valyrian steel blade.
That's why we're just gonna go brup, brup, all episode.
Well, this week, I tried to get through more Twin Peaks, and
Oh my God, ambitious.
oh gosh, yeah, it's
Not
like,
Twin Peach.
not Twin Peaks. Yeah.
Sure.
This is regular old Twin Peaks.
Gotcha.
And a lot of actually gearing up for the Fringe run of, or in the UCB run of a 30-minute musical that I'm in. So yeah, we're getting ready for that.
Nice.
Nice.
What
Ready to
kind of
start
musical?
Well, my friend Joy, she wrote a
Regulano?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She wrote a 30-minute musical about basically her life, where it's called Supportive White Parents.
Oh, I know this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
When is it?
Well, we have a run at UCB Upright Citizens Brigade the next 3 months.
Oh.
And then we have a Fringe run all of June.
So are we going to be in
Yeah.
the front with the big posters saying "We're here for Earl"? Is that the deal?
Yeah.
Please.
Let's do it. We'll have a chant, like the Korean pop star chants, like, it's going to sound like that.
Wow.
And I'm just going to be like this.
Joy's just gonna give you the death stare, like, why'd you bring these? It's my show.
Why are they cheering for Earl?
We don't get it.
He's like a super side character that no one cares about.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, I forgot to mention one important part of my week. I actually was acting as part of an immersive theater event promo for the new HBO Cinemax show Warrior.
Yeah.
Yay!
Shout
But
out
yeah.
Jason, man. Jason Tobin, what's up, brother?
Yes. It's going to be a really great show. I mean, the live immersive show that we had was really fun. Basically, we had 5 different tracks, and then we would walk around as characters and employing audience members to like play our games. And then basically, after they finish our track, they get a token for like swag and
Nice.
stuff.
So it's like a
So-
Comic-Con activation. Like,
Kind of, yeah, kind of like that. It was really cool.
Can I just
What's
say,
up?
I saw your IG. You look
Uh-huh.
great.
Thank
that
you.
period piece and the hair. I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't
You want to sit next to her? I mean, switch sides.
It's okay. Yeah.
know.
Walter,
Let's
come over here.
rearrange. I'm sorry, the sound is set to you.
Yeah.
No, I was like,
honestly,
it was such a like real good period like
It looked
look.
great,
You look
yeah.
like a like.
It didn't look like her,
1878.
right?
Yeah, it didn't look like. Yeah, I thought it was
What are you
like.
trying to
I was like,
say?
You're
is
trying to
this-
say that
He was
I
like,
don't
"Who
look
that
good
shorty?
on
Who
my
that
own.
shorty?" And he's like, "Oh, it's Jen."
See,
That's what
I was
she
like,
thought.
no, I was like,
Damn.
oh, is this like
Damn.
one of the actresses from the actual movie? I was like,
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, you don't need to dig the sword even deeper, okay? I
no,
wish I were
but
on the
you,
show.
you look great, and the outfit
You
looked
did.
great. The
Thanks.
hair,
You looked great.
hair and makeup.
Yeah, I was playing this like madam of the brothel basically, so it was like really
Because
seductive
you
and dangerous.
did look sinister.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hired
Left-handed.
people to do an opium deal for me, basically.
Ooh.
Wow.
That was my track.
You're like an Asian Bellatrix Lestrange.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like a femme
It's got
fatale.
it interesting. No.
Dude,
I want
it-
to play
it
that
looked
character. You
good.
gotta like pick up this warrior show, man, and then
Right.
like renew it so you can
And then
cast
cast
me.
her. She sells opium really well.
I sell opium really well.
I can attest.
Well, with that, if anybody has any questions, this is for the rest of the episode too. If anybody has any questions, just type them in chat, and then we'll get to them hopefully by the end of the episode
yes.
because we're monitoring stuff and
and the CIA
the CIA
and the
everything.
NSA.
and the
All of them. Nothing is private, especially this show. So we are going to be talking about a lot of things this episode. News from the Geek Universe. This is going to be a Star Wars. God dang it.
Wow.
Star Wars. I can't say it. Star Wars and Game of Thrones heavy episode.
We don't understand why Earl can't
I
say
know.
the word
Star Wars.
I'm going to have to hire a speech pathologist. Apparently I've been saying
Clearly.
things
Hey,
wrong.
that's Jonah speaking. All right.
Yeah. Oh, no.
But we're going to be talking a lot about those two things. I'm just going to say SW.
SW.
Rise of the Skywalker. That's all correct, right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It's Skywalker.
Shit! Before, again, we go on, I just want to remind everybody about the Game of Thrones death pool we have going on. The link is on our Facebook and our Twitter. I'll probably put something up on the webpage this week. So hit that up. Nobody has died Is that a spoiler?
Yet.
Nobody has died yet on the show, so you still have time to fill out that form.
No,
Actually,
Lord Umber.
no, Lord
the little
Umber
boy.
died.
Oh, right.
We'll get into
But
it.
he was not.
He was not
Yeah,
on
he
the
was on
list.
the list.
He was not on the
He
list.
wasn't even on the radar. Poor
Yeah.
Lord Umber.
R.I.P.
So Q&A at the end of the show. Death pool before next episode, and let's talk about news. So we just watched a Joker trailer, huh?
Yeah,
El
man.
Joker.
El Joker.
So El
Joker.
Joker. So the Joker trailer
trailer.
came out last week, and it was amazing. I thought it was great. It's very Taxi Driver. So for the people who might not know who Joker is and been living in a rock and hasn't seen Batman, the Joker is Batman's arch nemesis. You've seen it in what is it, Dark Knight or
Yeah,
yeah,
it's the
Dark Knight,
Dark Knight.
played by
The
Heath
late
Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Heath, rest in peace, buddy. And now it's gonna be played by Joaquin Phoenix. Phoenix.
Joker.
Joaquin
For
Phoenix by
Joaquin.
Joker. He's gonna be playing the Joker. Joker. And there he is.
Star Wars.
So it looks like and if you guys haven't seen the trailer, we have the link up on our page. And what do you guys think?
I'm super interested. Like, I was one of the people that was totally not into it. Like that they were even making another
Yeah.
Joker movie, because I was like, why do we need this? But I did say this on Twitter, and if there's anybody that was going to flip my opinion, it was going to be Joaquin Phoenix. And after watching that trailer, I'm like, I'm on board. Again, like with everything, I'm a little cautiously optimistic, but I'm pretty curious to see what they do with it.
Are you a
'Cause-
big Batman fan? Is that why you're so cautious?
It's not even that I'm Batman. I'm a pretty big Batman fan, but it's just kind of my MO these days to not give in or like to not respect the hype. Just
You're a smart man, Earl.
Right.
Take a page from your book.
Hype is extremely generated nowadays.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But I mean, I saw the trailer and I was refreshed to find out that they're trying to take things in a completely new direction. He looks more of like
Agreed.
a tragic fallen hero that becomes the villain, which is a very accessible kind of like humane kind of story.
Yeah.
As opposed to like absolute psychopathy, the way that like Heath Ledger's Joker was.
right.
Which kind of speaks to the whole like universality of like this Joker character or overall. Like we all long to see like the villain's origin story for some reason or other.
I still have a problem with that though.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it too? It's too in vogue nowadays. Like let's get
Let's,
a more
let's
humane
humanize this
filter.
villain.
Yeah,
Like,
I can
it's
see that,
been
yeah.
done again and
Kylo
again.
Ren.
yeah, and it's like, no, the
Yeah.
Joker's a psychotic.
Traditionally, he's supposed to be. This one makes him look
Absolutely.
more human.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, because-
acting wise and cinematography, it looks great.
Right. Absolutely.
That I will just say that. Like,
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix, just from the trailer alone, he looks like he's gonna act the shit out of it.
Seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
I can't wait to see that.
It
I'm
has
just
that taxi
Yeah.
driver like look and feel and texture, but on a storyline, yeah, I'm gonna go with you and be cautious about it. Just let's not even talk about like where in the period of time and like of Dark Knight or how this fits into the Batman.
It seems to be an older story, right?
From what I've read, it's supposed to be like right before
Oh,
he
really?
actually meets Batman or something.
Oh, right
Like, well,
before.
it's like origin, but it's like I think it's supposed to end like right when he's about to.
Now,
start
is
his
this
life
in
of
the
crime.
same universe as the Dark Knight? Because
That's
I don't think it's in the Nolan verse.
No.
no, it's
oh, because it's not a Christopher Nolan.
and it's not,
film.
and I don't
No.
even know if it's Jack Nicholson verse.
No.
It's its own
It's
verse.
definitely in the DC universe because somebody is playing Bruce Wayne's father, Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
So they have that cast. I forgot who it is off the top of my head, but it's still following some kind of comic continuity. We just don't know which one.
Yeah,
Right.
So and that makes you wonder, though. It's like they're having all these universes out,
Right.
and how does that play out in the grand scheme of things? Because you have all these versions of the Joker, the Batman, and
Right.
Do you think now they're gonna, if this grows successful, they're gonna take all the other villains from the Batman universe and start humanizing them?
I hope not. I hope it doesn't start a trend.
Yeah, I hope many trends don't get started.
Right. Well, speaking of another trend that we were like a little problematic with last time, the Lion King trailer Yeah.
Did we talk about it last time?
We talked about Aladdin, the Aladdin trailer in
right.
this context.
Gotcha. The live
Right.
action sequels
That
or
trend.
the
Right.
editions. Yeah.
So, like, the whole time when I was seeing the Lion King trailer, I was thinking back to how Detective Pikachu was coming out and the same fibery, like, fur material that looks like you bought, like, children's felt and glued it on top of moving, like, puppets.
Right.
Look at it. It's so
Exactly.
cute.
It still evokes that. I mean, it's very cute and it's glassy-eyed. I just don't know why they have to make a live-action version when they still had to CGI the shit out of these animals.
Yeah,
Like, it's essentially the same, but in 3D.
And what's
Right.
problematic too is the fact that they're so hyper realistic looking that it actually diminishes the facial expression.
Right.
So they actually look more relatable and real in the cartoon than they do in
Right.
the live action.
I mean, their pores are looking fantastic.
yeah, but there's a problem when Aslan from the Chronicles of Narnia has more facial expression than you do
Right.
in
It's-
2019.
It's a weird like balance because they can't
Like Uncanny
shift.
Valley.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They can't shift it too far away from the natural motions of an animal
Yeah.
and make it more human. But because they're doing that, it makes it less relatable. We're less able to read the emotions.
And that's so funny because you
Right.
think about like 8-bit or like, you know, when animation used to be way more simplistic, yet you read so much emotion into it.
Like with Snow White.
right.
Yes, with Snow White, you know, like, or even like old school rotoscoping.
Mhm.
Nowadays, I don't know. Uncanny Valley
It
is the
is.
phrase
Yeah.
that comes to mind for me.
I kind of wonder if they're still going to have all the songs.
They
They
have
probably
to.
will. They have to.
Right. But I mean,
Yeah.
they've done it before where they've either cut down like majorly or like they've not had any songs in it at all. Like I don't think like the Cinderella adaptation had.
It did.
It did?
It did.
Oh.
There was some singing.
Mulan will not. Mulan will
Oh.
not be a
At all?
musical at all.
Oh.
Yeah, they're trying to
I
base
No,
it
don't
I'll
off
make
of
a
the-
man out of you.
Nope.
No reflection.
They're basing it off of the Chinese Ballad of Mulan, which is going to be
Okay.
totally different, and it stars that
Interesting.
Chinese A-lister
Better have some.
Liu Yifei, Crystal Liu.
Wait, Faye is her name?
Liu Yifei. Yeah,
Oh.
so it's Yifei, not Faye for Healing, okay?
Oh.
Not your middle name. Not everything is about you, Kaitlyn.
It's not.
She was like, I was casting that. I didn't know.
Well, my half sister by the middle name was also cast in Mulan.
Better have
Here's-
some
Okay.
good, awesome action scenes. Though. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I hope
Right.
so.
I better. Well, here's the interesting thing is that now that this film, once this film comes out, it's going to be out or it's going to be available super early when Disney releases its Disney Plus thing. Has everybody heard
Disney
of this?
Plus thing.
Yeah, their Disney Plus, their streaming
Something.
service.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Disney Plus is a new streaming service that Disney is rolling out for all the IPs that they own, which is kind of everything at this point.
Yeah.
So, and they've already released or they've already announced a major, like a list of everything that they're releasing in the theaters this year that is coming out when Disney Plus releases in November. So, The Lion King, the Avengers stuff. I don't know if when Rise of Skywalker, but all the Star Wars stuff is going to be there. They're going to have a new season of Star Wars Clone Wars. Plus, God dang it, Star Wars Clone Wars, and then
Whoa.
Star Wars,
Clone Wars.
freaking.
Now
ass.
he's thinking too
Star
much
Wars
about it.
Clone
That's why he
Wars.
keeps saying it
It's
wrong.
it's never going to be right. And as well as several offshoots series from the MCU, including WandaVision, Falcon, and Bucky.
Winter Soldier.
Falcon, Winter Soldier, and there's one more. I think it's the Jeremy Renner one, or
Yeah, Hawkeye. I think I read it was going to be a Hawkeye spin-off or something like that.
yeah. So everything and the most of the history of Disney and ABC and now Fox is going to be on this service.
So it's
kinda
all under
crazy.
Wow.
Disney.
All of it is under Disney
So,
now. Simpsons.
so in a few years,
Yeah.
Disney is gonna have taken over the world. Is what
They
you're
have
saying.
all the.
Yeah.
They have,
They have all five
the
Infinity
strong power.
Stones.
They have
Yeah.
all the
Right.
stones.
They have all the stones.
We have all.
And now I know
I'm
what that
just
joke
really
means.
concerned. Yeah.
Damn, I'm on it now.
I'm just really concerned. I mean, like, is their end goal to be the only channel on TV?
No,
you know,
the-
like, will that be
Yes.
the end of the free market
Antitrust
as we know
laws will
it?
prevent that.
They will
but-
be Big Brother.
Ideally, it will, but geez,
Well,
we'll see
as
what
long
happens.
as long as if they can take over Sony and get Spider-Man back, then I'm still okay with it.
Yeah.
I think Sony's like
Sony took
this.
Spider-Man?
Yeah,
They still own. Spider-Man is only with Marvel for like 5 films.
yeah. He's
So-
on
What?
loan.
So there's like deals, and then they give it back to them.
Yeah.
because Sony is being kind of a jerk about it and like holding on to the Spider-Man like
Even though
uh,
they've had 2 franchises like
that
That
failed.
like
Yeah.
failed.
and they don't respect the franchise, and that's why they're trying to make money with Venom and all the
The other
Spider-Man
ones, yeah.
characters around him without Spider-Man, because right
Mhm.
now Spider-Man is in a 5-film contract with Marvel Studios.
they had
Oh.
a Sinister
That's
6
interesting.
planned.
Yeah, so
So I don't know.
in after 5 films, Marvel films, Spider-Man goes back, and let's see how Sony just destroys Spider-Man again.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
man.
Walter.
Known.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm not bitter or nothing, but
He's not bitter at all.
Kicks
But-
can.
I'm just a big Spider-Man fan. I think Marvel should just have Spider-Man back.
But for reals, like Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2,
Hmm.
they were just not good, man.
Yeah,
I only saw the Amazing Spider-Man 1. But this was the
I saw
Andrew
that one
Garfield.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Andrew
Andrew
Garfield was a great Spider-Man.
I actually liked him. I liked his
I-
bad
I didn't-
boy
I liked
approach.
No, I didn't like him.
You didn't like him?
What?
I
Why?
liked him because he was too good looking to be Peter Parker.
Well,
You,
okay.
you didn't like him because he was too good looking?
yeah.
But I feel like
He's
he
like-
had the
No, it's true, because the whole point. I
He's
had
more
a
of
debate.
like a
Camera
dweeb,
zooms in on
right?
my
I had-
He's supposed to be like a dweeb. That
He's supposed to be a
becomes-
dork, like nerd,
Yeah.
like this kid who got picked on, and he got superpowers, and he still with
Okay.
great powers
I mean, he
comes
was
great,
still
great
an
responsibility.
outcast. He was just
But
a
this
yeah.
was
bad
I'm a
boy.
cool
he was
skater
also
dude.
he was an
like-
older Peter. He was like post-college Peter too.
It did seem that way.
So-
yeah.
Right?
No, he was still in high school.
Was he?
He was on a
no,
skateboard.
yeah, but he seemed more like college age.
Oh,
to
right.
be
Because
honest.
he was,
Because
yeah.
it was
He seemed like
Andrew
Cal State
Garfield.
Long Beach
Cal State Long Beach Peter.
Spider-Man.
But he was
Yeah,
still in
yeah.
high school.
with a longboard.
49ers Peter. What up? Anyway, we'll see how this whole thing like ends up. How if people subscribe to it, which I think a lot of people will. So we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Also,
We shall
what's
see.
up to our first commenter?
Hey, what's up, Mind Bullets 9K?
Whoa.
I know.
Mind bullets.
Mind Bullets.
What's up?
Cool name.
Thanks for
I'm
being
ready.
in the chat.
Sounds like a spoken
Yeah.
words artist.
Yeah.
Shifting the
Z.
focus over
Mind
to
bullets. Yeah.
video games, we have a new announcement in terms of the console wars. What is
Yes.
it?
Well,
Walter?
Sony announced that they're going to come out with a PS5. They haven't
What?
put out too much detail or even price, but they have said that it's going to be kind of the same OS as the PS4. So you can play PS4 games on it, and you should be able to. I think it said you can play PS2 and PS3 games or
So it's going
patches
to
with
be
Thank
it.
fully
God.
backwards compatible.
I believe so.
Except for PS1?
Well, that one's a sure, but PS4 for sure.
Wow.
And you can
Good.
like get PS4 CD or CDs
Amazing.
or Blu-rays.
That's a big thing.
Mhm.
And yeah, right now I think it's Blu-rays that they're gonna use, if I remember correctly from the
Right.
article I
Mhm.
read. And they're probably gonna support like downloadable content, of course.
Mhm.
But it's like a faster processor. It's not even gonna be like a souped-up PS4 like the PS4 Pro. It's gonna have
Right.
completely new hardware with new graphics interface or graphics card. So it's gonna be
It's going to be
Pretty
interesting
awesome.
because
Yeah.
they are. I was
So down.
looking it up, and they are going with like the AMD Ryzen
mhm.
series. That's like it's not AMD's like top level, but it's pretty up there. It's their current like gaming trim, and they're going with RTX,
Mhm.
the RTX graphic GPUs, which is NVIDIA's like latest and greatest. So
Mm.
we'll see how that goes.
And I mean, depending on when they release, because they haven't really announced when they're actually going to release it. They're
Right.
Mhm.
they're skipping out on the
E3?
E3 convention.
Are they? They're skipping out.
Yeah,
on
they've
Whoa.
said they're not showing up this year.
Wow.
Oh my
That's a
God.
big thing.
So it
So
might
better be
not come out
twice as
till
good.
next year.
Right.
Holy shit.
We'll see. So
Yeah.
it might be maybe 2 years from now. Like
Maybe it'll
let them make
premiere-
money of let them make some more money out of
The
PS4
PS4.
Pro.
Yeah.
I know that I feel like that just
please.
came out.
Yeah.
And of course, when I read that, I was like, of course they're gonna come out with a new
Mhm.
console that I just bought a PS4 Pro.
Has
I
it
know.
been 7 years already?
Huh?
Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh no, I was gonna ask who's buying the 5 for us. Is
I'll buy it.
I'm probably gonna buy it. I'll buy a PS5.
but you just got
Yeah.
your 4.
I know.
Yeah.
Has it been 7 years since the 4 came out?
7 years already?
No,
Maybe.
It's been a while.
7 years ago was 2012.
It's been a while.
Maybe,
So-
yeah. Because they usually follow the fallow. They usually follow that like a like this Star Wars thing has just got me all discombobulated.
Fallow.
It's actually discombobulated.
Discombobulated.
I don't know if you knew that.
Discombobulated.
Fallow is actually a word as well,
It
but
is.
It
it's
is,
just
but-
the wrong word in the situation.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Please.
I know.
Fallow.
Fallow, yeah. Fallow is an
Is
adjective.
it a noun?
It's an adjective.
It's an adjective.
Right. Right.
Fallow.
Who cares?
F-A-L-L-O-W.
Yeah, it's-
Fallow.
Usually, the consoles follow like a 7-year-ish development cycle. Like that's when they release a new one. So we'll see how when the PS5 is fallow. We'll see how that all works out.
So fallow actually means of a light yellowish brown color.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, I knew it. I thought it was like wheat colored, right? Or like corn.
Oh,
No,
Fallow?
it means to be like palish, grayish, or
So like
or
Simba?
to cultivate land.
So I'll be like,
Yeah.
so Arnold is like fallow.
So it's a verb.
Yeah.
So
the
it's a
color
verb
of
and an
fallow.
adjective.
that's vaguely racist.
It's a color. It's an adjective. Or a noun. Adjective.
It's like Rowan.
I knew it. It is a noun.
It's a noun too.
See, I
It's
was right.
both.
It's
Yeah.
what happens when you when you let
Listen,
cultivated
this is important.
land
We're geeks.
Oh,
We
that's
gotta
right,
talk
right,
this
right,
out.
right.
when you let crops die to grow
That's
idle.
right.
I knew it. That's
I
what
knew-
it's a
yeah, it's
noun.
like, yeah.
Yeah, I remember geography
When you let
slash
when you let the field go fallow.
ecology class.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Corn. wheat,
Okay.
or
Anyway, we're done with fallowing.
Speaking of a new fallow trailer. See, I'm just gonna use it wrong forever. A new trailer. The new Avengers, like the final trailer before release,
Yes.
just showed up today on the internet. We watched it today, and it's kind of like a supercut of lines.
all
and,
the other films.
all
And
the other
this
films.
All the other
Universe.
logos
Looks
from
like
the
a,
other
looks like a
films.
fan homage.
Yeah.
It totally is.
Each shot was worth several
Shortcut.
million
Yeah.
dollars, clearly.
It's like a glorified PowerPoint. Look at all this cool
Yeah.
shit we did.
Look at the amazing 10 years.
11, I think, actually.
Yeah, 11,
11
11
years.
now.
Yeah. When's the
Right.
release date for this
End of this
It's-
month.
Yeah, and it's 26th, right?
Wow.
26th?
20.
We're gonna go see
Yeah.
it, right?
So Earl's buying all our tickets?
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
I sent you guys a link.
Really?
Yeah, well, because there's a group of us. Shout out to Ramel. Like, we're all going to go.
Oh, you
that's
mean you sent
right.
it-
You
Oh,
did.
are we being
We're gonna
invited?
watch it together.
Are we
I
officially
sent you an
invited?
invite. Yeah.
Oh, I don't care about stuff you send me.
Oh, there you go.
Damn.
Then not
She just
invited.
wanted to make sure she was invited so she could turn it down.
I know. You want to click
me
the
so well.
not going
Jen,
on,
like-
on Facebook.
No,
Yeah.
you weren't invited.
Disinvite.
Fixed.
But it's a cool trailer. It's definitely like part of the hype machine that I don't follow. And but
I don't understand this trailer. I think it's like very, very like display of the trophies on our shelf.
Yeah, because we have nothing else to do.
And less of like giving away anything in the
Right.
actual movie, which
It's
I
a
can
hype trailer.
understand.
It-
They don't
it-
want to
You don't
show
want-
anything.
Yeah.
they have one shot at the very end, and it's Thor, Iron Man, and
They're all doing some Captain Planet thing. Like, let's do this, right?
no, it's just
Oh,
their
just
legs and Captain America.
Ooh,
It's just
their
their
legs.
legs, like a close of their legs walking on like a decimated battleground. And
Oh, I
that's,
feel hot and heavy already.
yeah.
Yeah. What are they gonna do on that?
With those
Hot and
legs.
heavy.
I know
ground.
those legs. I want to.
Squats.
I want to see some.
You could cover a lot of ground with
See
those
some
legs.
leg wrestling.
Lunges.
Anyway.
Toe holds.
So yeah, that was that. But on to our main topics for the episode. We're going to be talking
Topics?
topics.
Top. You're in Wisconsin?
Wars.
Or
Wisconsin.
Boston?
All right.
We're going to be talking Star Wars.
Hey,
You said it.
you got it.
Whoa.
I'm trying really hard.
He's learning.
Star
Good.
Wars. It takes a long time to rewire all that stuff. So, Star Wars Celebration and Star Wars news. A lot of stuff came up because of Star Wars Celebration, which was in Chicago this past weekend, and is going to be at Anaheim next year. So let's try to get out there.
Yeah.
but we have first of all that trailer came out. Have we talked about that yet?
No.
The trailer.
We talked about your pronunciation of the
We have talked about the pronunciation of the trailer.
So what's the trailer of?
The trailer is of it's apparently 3 items down in the agenda. So, but next is Star Wars on Disney Plus. We have a lot of stuff that came out there.
What's Disney Plus?
Disney Plus is the streaming service.
It's a thing, right?
Yeah, it's a thing.
So Disney Plus is basically Disney's upcoming version of Netflix,
Right.
and it has been released to us from the head of Lucasfilms, Kathleen Kennedy, that within the first launch year of Disney Plus, they will have basically all the Star Wars franchise films on the service. That's including Rogue One, including all those fantastic
Rogue One.
prequels, including the original trilogy and the J.J. Abrams, Ryan Johnson affair that we are currently experiencing in this lifetime. What they didn't mention would be on there was that Han Solo film that came out last
Solo?
year.
So
Yeah, Solo. Because I think the ratings were just so
It
low.
didn't do too well.
whoa.
Right.
But
I didn't hear it was
Wow.
too bad, actually.
It wasn't
Arnold
that
heard it.
bad. No,
I read Solo. Oh, I see.
it was an alright
Totally missed
movie.
it. Yeah,
I
I heard
didn't
it was
like it.
People
alright.
enjoyed it.
I
Yeah.
love the trailer. The
Yes.
trailer got me hyped.
Probably didn't have much to do with the canon, but it was still a
Right.
fun film.
Yeah. I don't know.
I heard it
saw
was a fun, dumb film that wasn't going to win any Oscars anytime soon, which I'm okay with, honestly.
Visually, it was great. I just, to me, like the Kessel Run was just, it's
Disappointing.
Been so
Super built up.
So, like
Yeah.
from reading the books and just being a fan, like to me, it was just this legend. It was better as
Right.
a legend than I didn't really need
Than
to
seeing
see
it.
it
didn't
than
see
seeing.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree with that. I never needed to see the Kessel Run.
And because like that's another thing. Like I like that because you didn't really know if Han Solo was BSing you.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it was
Mm.
part of his roguish
Right.
charm and character.
Yeah.
Like I'm taking your word that you made the fastest run, Kessel
It's
Run.
him
and,
telling the
you know?
story
Yeah,
that
exactly.
makes the
Unnecessary.
legend.
In
Um,
parsecs, which is not a unit of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, it was cute. I mean, I think the the whatever poker match that they had was great, but I mean, yeah,
So, all in all, not the best movie you've ever seen.
it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't.
Well, I'm
Blown away.
disappointed.
But do you think that like Disney is gonna cancel Disney films on all other streaming services
Of
if you
course.
don't?
Oh, they've already
have
Oh, yeah.
started
Disney
culling.
Plus?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
They've
my
already-
god!
They've already started culling. Like, I think they're taking off all their animated stuff off Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
they've canceled all the Defender stuff already.
Mhm. Yep.
Punisher and
my God.
Daredevil.
And
That's
then,
a little
yeah.
scary.
And
That's
that's
very
why
drastic.
that's why
Yeah.
right now on Netflix, like you have the really most recent one, Black Panther, Thor
Mhm.
Ragnarok, Infinity. Netflix is just like putting it out there so people
Right.
will like sign up for them right now
Right,
until
right.
Marvel
They get
or
Takes
yanked.
away.
Disney takes them away.
Plus.
Right.
Oh my
I
god!
didn't think of it that way. But,
But
so
This is
watch
how-
that shit before it's gone like hot potatoes.
Late stage capitalism.
That's
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, basically.
Fun little tidbit. Do you know that Sung Kang's character in Fast and the Furious, his name is Han Solo?
What?
What?
It is, yeah. Because his character's name is Han.
Yeah, I remember Han.
And his last name is Solo.
Han
Solo.
It's just it's a little
Yeah, yeah.
I
insert
feel like
by,
they stooped so low with that joke.
I know. How many times
Yeah.
can you say meow in the simmer down meow?
Meow.
But we also got news of a Mandalorian live action Star Wars
We did.
series. And Jen,
Yeah, so we're gonna have the new series, The Mandalorian, by series creator Jon Favreau, and it's gonna be starring Pedro Pascal, who we know as Oberyn from Game of Thrones. So
The
he's gonna
Viper.
play the titular character. Right now, we only know them as a mysterious gunfighter from Mandalore or Mandalone, right?
Mandalore, yeah.
Mandalore, there we go. But apparently this person is not going to be Boba Fett. right? We're assuming.
I don't think. I don't think
think
they have
so.
anything to do with Boba Fett's
Although they
effects.
did have a Boba Fett like movie planned, but
They did.
because of the Han Solo thing,
got
they
axed.
Got scrapped.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
shelved it. Yeah.
It's
The
either
connection-
Solo or Boba Fett.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The connection is that Boba Fett had Mandalorian armor on.
For some
That's-
people,
And
like,
that
can
was
we-
it.
let's
Yeah.
explain.
Right? Yeah.
Let's explain who the Mandalorians were.
Exactly.
At least for the books or the. I don't know if they're gonna change it, but
The Mandalorians were a race of a warrior race. A lot of them.
Warrior?
Warriors.
Warrior race. Jesus, a warrior race that were supposedly force sensitive, and people like
And-
Jango Fett were descended from them.
See,
And,
I like this narrative angle because you don't know too much about it.
Right.
It's just, vague enough and fertile enough to call different stories from and a whole
Right.
series over.
Yeah.
It's
not
huge.
just some rehash shit that we already know.
Which is why I was so
Just a
excited
good
about like
choice, yeah.
Old
Yeah.
Republic stuff. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walter?
Well, I was just gonna say is like I just wonder which canon is this going with because the episode 2, 3 when the Clone Wars and they
Right.
showed the Mandalorian there, it's different from the Mandalorians in the book, at least from my understanding, which is like, from the original like Boba Fett
Right.
supposedly got his armor from Mandalorian soldiers, and
Right.
it's like a trophy because it's kind of an achievement to be
He
able to
killed the
take kill the
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian
Yeah.
and
Mm.
took it,
Hmm.
and then but in episode 2 and 3, it went away from that.
I just predicted something.
What?
If Boba Fett kills Pedro Pascal's character and
Oh, it
takes
could be
his
it.
armor?
That could be
And
the end
that's
of
the
the series.
prequel
That'd
to
be
the
cool.
series.
Are
That'd
you
be
calling it?
I'm calling
That's
it.
what-
I'm
right
calling
here.
it. That has to
We'll
be
find out.
Today.
You heard it first.
What is
you
it
heard
today?
it here.
Oh,
So,
April 16th, 2019.
PanGeekery.
Jennifer has made a prediction.
Tomorrow, Disney's like, we've canceled the Mandalorian show.
Some
It's
Jennifer.
over.
We get a
Zheng
cease and
bitch.
desist.
Figured out
I
the plot.
know.
We're gonna have to. It's gonna be delayed 2 years for
Yeah.
release.
So,
Complete
fun
rewrite.
fact. Fun fact, they actually ran out of like extras for stormtroopers and they employed some of the professional cosplayers from
The
the group
501st?
501st.
Nice.
Yeah, as extras. And apparently
on
the
you,
scriptwriters were also inspired by Kurosawa films. So
Right.
we're going to be expecting a masterpiece, right?
Well, if they're, I mean,
Well, I mean-
Jen,
Right?
I hate to break
Yeah.
this to you, but many people are inspired
I
by
mean, the whole-
Kurosawa films.
Okay.
Well, I mean, but-
they're not all Quentin
Including
Tarantino.
bad filmmakers.
Exactly.
Point taken.
But I mean,
And then
Star
there was,
Wars
like,
period was
Magnificent
inspired by
Seven.
Kurosawa.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
Hidden Fortress.
Hidden Fortress.
okay. Well,
That is a
well
fun
then.
fact. Okay.
Yeah.
Very fun. Very factual.
I was going to say something about Mandalorians, Boba Fett. It doesn't matter. It'll come up in my head like randomly over the
Well,
next
as soon as
week.
this episode is over.
As
Right.
soon as
Yeah.
this episode is over.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the biggest thing that came out of Star Wars Celebration this past weekend was the new trailer
Mm-hmm.
for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
What did you guys think?
All right. Somebody tweeted out this video of a guy watching. It was a reaction video, and he was like crying the entire time.
Really?
I was pretty close. to
You
that.
were
Yeah.
close
Yeah,
to
yeah,
crying in that teaser.
That true?
Yeah.
That's
Did I
so
hear you
strange.
correctly?
I
Yeah,
had the
absolutely.
complete opposite reaction, as did many, I think, which was having no reaction at all.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
I was.
Wow,
oh my
I-
It
God.
looked like B-roll footage from the last two
What?
films. Sorry, not sorry.
What?
Well, except with what's his name? The guy who comes in at the end.
Palpatine?
No.
Sidious.
No,
it's
she's
Sidious,
talking
it's
about
the
Lando
cackle.
Calrissian.
Oh,
Yeah,
Billy
that's
Lando.
Lando.
Colt
Yeah.
45.
Yeah.
Colt 45.
Oh.
I taught his grandson
Did
a
you
few years
really?
ago. Yeah, he's like, this is my grandpa. I was like, your grandpa's the dude from Star Wars. He's like,
Lando.
yeah.
Sure, he wasn't
Wow.
just trying to pick you
The
up.
leader
No,
of
it was a
Bespin.
little boy. Like
Oh.
all the teachers.
Are you
confirmed.
sure he
Sure,
wasn't
wasn't trying to pick you up.
a little boy?
Yo.
Hey, have you
Oh
not?
my
Have you not
We're
seen?
not talking about that. Okay. Anyways,
Have you not seen episode 2? That's what exactly Anakin
Are
did.
you an
I
angel?
love that. Hey, that's episode 1. Okay, get your
still.
shit straight.
Now this is pod racing. But I got God. All right.
Yeah.
Annie,
Anyway,
my
so-
goodness, you're grown.
Wow.
Whoa.
She did. Annie.
As she said in the porno as well.
I mean, that
What is that one called?
That firelight scene with the corset. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I can't breathe when I'm around you. That was like the beginning of a bad fantasy themed porno. And you all know it.
We
Y'all
all
know
knew
it.
it.
Y'all
We all knew it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Sorry.
this trailer basically it starts off with like Rey out of breath, panting and running as
She
usual,
always is.
on a mission.
Right.
You would think she'd have better
Exerting-
cardio.
I know.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah. And then she like takes down some ship, and then you see
but
images.
she
It's
doesn't
like
just take it
it's a
down.
TIE
She does some
interceptor.
freaking
Yeah.
like Matrix-esque
yeah,
Ghost in the Shell flip backwards.
I don't think she
Right,
takes.
right.
I think
Yeah.
she's just gonna ride on it. She's just like lands
Yeah,
on it.
I don't know what's
Just
gonna
lands
happen.
on it.
We just got
Whatever.
we got the Flash without the follow through.
Yeah.
right. We
Yeah.
got flashes of
Yeah.
everything without the follow through.
Yeah, yeah.
I read somewhere like someone commented saying like this was the first Star Wars trailer where I didn't feel anything.
What?
I-
I
I-
felt
well, that's
something.
the
I
thing.
was man when
Yeah,
I
I felt the
think
same, that I didn't feel anything.
I feel like the
What?
fandom in general is like
Jaded.
jaded,
Numb?
absolutely
Yeah.
jaded,
Numb,
and
yeah.
a lot of people are not on board, especially after TLJ, The Last Jedi, and I mean that's cool, whatever.
But this is J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, like my reaction, and I'm still gonna watch the fucking movie, is that like I'm excited as shit.
dude, yeah.
So-
I mean, when I saw that, it's like, oh, there's a new trailer. I was like,
That was me exactly. That
oh,
was me
great.
exactly.
I guess I'll look at it.
Yeah.
I looked at it and I was
So were you
like,
hyped?
dude, like, yeah, the rest of the trailer, my like jaw dropped, and I was just like, and
Really?
I just
What
got-
about it
I
in
just
the
got
trailer?
tingles, like,
Which part?
So did
Which
I.
part?
I think it's just the moment, like, it started, like, right when she flipped, and then from there, the trailer was just like, to me, was off the hook. I was just like, yes,
Off the chizzane.
Like I was okay with the Ray stuff. It was like the other stuff that got me.
yeah,
It was like well, it's also that like Carrie Fisher's dead now, and this like
Yeah.
and yeah, the hug, and she's
yeah,
in there,
and that return of Lando,
Yeah.
and like
that
just the
stuff.
narration, like,
right? Because it also gave you that feeling that like maybe this wasn't the last that we were gonna see it of Luke. Because like even though I like TLJ, I feel like they did him wrong.
It is called The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, and there's that. What does that mean?
My God, if they bring back another person from the dead, I'm gonna tear my hair out.
But that's
well,
the thing with Star
the
Wars.
Force,
yeah.
they never die. The
No,
energy
but
is
I'm
just
so
recreated.
tired of these freaking deaths.
That's how you
nothing
get the
means
blue.
anything.
Nothing means anything. We're gonna talk about this in Game of Thrones in a few minutes. I just can't stand it anymore. Did you guys like the latest films? Like, I
Right.
just can't handle these freaking films.
Wow.
Like, when I first met Jen, like a year ago, like,
Right.
I remember one of the first things we talked about was like,
The
so
Last
what did you think
Jedi.
of Star Wars? And
Yeah.
then she's like, she looked kind of cautious, like she didn't know how to say,
Yeah.
like, what she was gonna say.
No,
She
no,
was like,
no,
I'm a
no.
centrist.
I am a centrist.
I'm a centrist. And I was like, get the fuck out of here.
No, I
The door's
definitely
that
am
way.
a centrist. I felt that The Last Jedi had redeemable moments. I didn't necessarily feel that they were like 100% with the canon, but they were trying something new, and you know.
But whenever we get
shitty
into
way.
canon talk, when we're talking about like especially this new series, like all bets are off because there is no canon established. EU, whatever that
Exactly.
was,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely erased. All of it is gone.
Mm.
Yep.
So whether or not that is a good or bad thing is something to be,
And I
we'll
mean-
find out. But
The thing I like about The Last Jedi is, like, one, they actually learned martial arts. They actually learned how to fight, like a real
Right.
sword fighting and like
Right.
knife fighting.
looked great,
You know,
which
the
is
we-
big to me,
Yeah, that was awesome.
which is why I did not like Kill Bill.
Really?
Yeah.
He's still not over
Oh,
that.
wow.
Jesus Christ, the
Wait,
fucking
you didn't-
fight choreo.
Really? With the knives and stuff?
And like anytime she's holding a samurai sword,
Is she's holding it totally wrong? Is that what you're saying?
her movement is just like I don't know.
Wow.
Just because she's a white girl, you gotta hate on her like
No,
that?
no.
Oh man. Oh man.
Yeah, and then I mean, I do like. See, I personally like the direction they're going. Is the fact that like they're expanding the Jedi Force not just to the Skywalkers. It was
Right.
You know, it's like there's other people out there. The power and the Force is out
Like
there. It's not just-
anyone could be part of
you
the
could. It's a
Force.
gift that's given.
Right. I mean, that's what the like. That's a lot of the EU actually. Like the Force is not a thing that's like that is gifted to only this family.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
I actually am really compelled by the Rey and Kylo through line. I think their connection is so like narratively complex. You know,
I did like that part.
I
That was
like
the one
them.
part
I
where they
shipped
teamed
them.
up. I shipped them too.
Yeah.
Like their little Skype conferences across.
I know. They're like, can you hear me now?
The Galaxy
Can you feel
Skype?
me now?
Can you please put a
Can you
shirt
feel
on?
me now?
It's like he's like shirtless,
Right.
and then they have that epic scene of hand sex where
Oh,
they
yeah.
like that, and then
Oh,
Tumblr blew up.
Ooh,
Y'all
but-
remember that?
But
I
I'm
know.
looking forward to the little love triangle between Ray
And
Finn.
Finn.
and
Oh.
But Finn likes Rose, though.
Yeah, because Finn needed.
I don't
a
know if
love.
like Finn likes
a love
Rose.
I think Rose likes
Rose
Finn.
likes Finn.
Yeah.
I don't know if Finn's
it's-
meant to be with anyone.
I feel like it's a little unilateral right there.
Yeah, a little bit.
So,
And then
Friend
Finn ends,
zoned.
and then
Yeah.
Finn ends up with Poe. What?
I know.
Plot twist.
There are those shippers out there.
Yeah.
There's a
They,
a
because they
contingent
have a
of those
romance
shippers.
going on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, when they teamed up, finally, that's when I actually sat up in my seat. I was like, oh, it's
Right.
actually getting exciting now. But
That
then
part was
short-
great.
That part was
was
fantastic.
so good.
Yeah.
I did like that part. I'll give them that.
The
But
other
then they
stuff.
leave.
Oh, you'll give them that.
I will give
Yeah.
them
It's
that.
all about what Caitlyn gives and does not give.
Yeah.
always.
Well,
Always.
we could talk about this forever, but we have a few other things to talk
Forever.
about. So,
Yeah.
another thing from Star Wars Celebration, Jesus, Star Wars Jedi: The Fallen Order, which is a new video game coming out. Jen,
Yeah, I'll take it from here before he has to say Star Wars
Please.
again.
please.
So this is going to be a new single-player game by Respawn and EA, which I'm really looking forward to because I love EA games. Yay! So this is going to be set after Episode 3,
Right.
Revenge of the Sith, and it will be released on PS4 and Xbox One on this year, November 15th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they better not push it back like Final Fantasy VII, or I'll be very upset.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
I was the one who dropped that news.
Oh, no. I mean, like, I knew about that one too, but it's okay for another time. Maybe they'll premiere it with PS5 or something.
Perhaps.
But anyway, so in Fallen Order, you play as Cal Kestis, one of the last remaining Jedi after the galaxy-wide purge of the Jedi Order, right? This is Order 66 to
Right.
purge all Jedis by force and all that. So it's basically the equivalent of like intergalactic genocide. Humanity has not learned anything since the dawn of time, so here we are again, purging other people.
My favorite topics.
Purge.
Purging.
But are they humans though?
God. Step one is dehumanizing.
Yeah.
This could
It's
go
an exciting time
very
in the
dark.
universe to like
Right.
set that story in.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
directly
It's
after
true.
Revenge of the Sith. Because everything's kind of chaotic.
It is.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's going to be the premise, and like hopefully it turns out to be great.
I'm pretty excited just because it's kind of hearkening. It's going to be, and they're kind of banking on this. It's going to be a single player experience, which is something, there's that whole trend right now where everybody's talking about battle royale games and online multiplayer, and it's surprising because companies like EA have said things like that single player experiences aren't lucrative anymore, and nobody wants to play those.
Bull, because I will.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
only
Jen will.
exclusively play single player.
I wonder if it's gonna
honestly.
be like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, just like that kind of like you're that player and you just see the whole world. You're
Right.
exploring.
If it's open, like
Open,
sandbox,
yeah.
kind of open world. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just excited because it's harkening back to the old like Jedi Knight series, which was one that came out in the mid 2000s or early 2000s.
You
I
mean
can't
like
remember.
Knights of the Old Republic?
No, the Jedi Knight series was a series of games that followed. There was Jedi Dark. Gosh, I forgot what the first game was called, but
Dark
Jedi
Knight of the Soul?
No.
Hey! No.
But there's Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy. All three were following a Jedi named Kyle Katarn.
What's up with all these K's?
I know.
That
Kyle
alliteration,
Kestis.
though.
Kyle
K.
Katarn.
Kyle
yeah.
O'Ren.
But yeah, they're single player experiences, action games, just straight action, action adventures. So hopefully we'll see what happens with
I
this
just
one.
want a Star Wars character named Mike.
Did you notice you've been saying Star Wars?
Star Wars.
You said it a few times.
Star
already.
Wars.
You just said Star Wars.
There's
Oh,
there's
no.
a transference happening.
It's happening.
You guys keep just repeating it. It's starting to get to me.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God, sorry.
Now the audience
the
is
world
gonna start
over.
saying it.
Yeah,
too.
if I get enough people to say Star Wars, it's
Then
just
it'll
going
be
to
normal.
Yeah,
It
it'll
It
be
doesn't even
normal.
roll off the tongue though.
It really
It's
is so much more difficult to say.
It's so
Star
much more
Wars.
difficult to
And
say
then
than
we
just
can
Star
we can go
Wars.
back to Jen and Kaitlyn be like, why are you saying it weird? It's Star Wars.
I know. That's going to be my new objective for 2019.
Wow. Not at all.
Yeah.
So, the big topic of the episode, and something that just happened this past Sunday, is the first episode of Game of Thrones.
Oh, we're pretty good. Let's try an acapella.
We're more in tune now.
All right, we're a quartet.
The first episode was kind of the title was held under wraps, but everybody's calling it Winterfell, right?
Because it is Winterfell.
Right.
Winterfell.
That is the
Winterfell.
Okay, just
We're
making
not
sure.
just calling it.
Sorry, it's actually being called
Winterfell.
It's actually being called its proper name, Winterfell.
Winterfell.
Okay.
Winterfell.
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 Am I saying that weird too?
No, you're fine. It's
all
actually
good. It's all
Winterfell.
good.
Yeah.
Let's not stress and get to the core of topics.
All right. So we all kind of watched it together this past Sunday at Kurz and Randy's place. Yay! Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Thanks
right.
for having us, guys.
Yes.
Yeah. What do y'all think? What did everybody think?
Oh man! So like as soon as the opening credits sequence began, me and Kaitlyn started hysterically crying
Like ball.
to the point where
True.
everyone
story.
at the
Yeah.
watch
True
party
story.
started laughing at us because we were also laughably crying. Like it was like
It's true. I'm not even.
They're not lying.
falling down our cheeks.
sobbing. We were sobbing. Yeah.
We were wiping our faces.
yeah. At the same time.
I can tell you what was going on through my mind. There was literally not a thought going through my head. It was just pure
was just
raw
reaction,
emotion
yeah.
of knowing that this was the final season of the show that I loved more than anything in this world coming to a close, and this was the beginning of that.
Well, it's not just that. It was also the surprise, the shock
Yeah.
factor, because you're expecting the regular,
Right. The
regular
opening
one.
sequence,
But
and
it's a new one.
But
It's
it's
a
a
new
new
one.
one that is like more in
Completely
Everything is
depth.
new.
It goes into little dungeons and crannies and
Right.
little
Yeah.
castles, and
Instead of-
Winter's there.
The astrolab is different.
Yeah,
Right.
The astrolabe.
Yeah. Astrolabe. God damn it.
so
An astrolabe, is that a dog on Mars? Like,
Yes.
wow,
Space Boy.
it's what Matt Damon uses to survive on Mars
Damon.
in The Martian. But anyway, so
Yeah.
the opening credits, you instead of flying over the cities and establishments that you see in seasons past, we are now going through said cities and
Yeah.
going in and out of
You see
like
the Iron Throne.
all these views.
oh yeah.
The hole in the wall.
Entirely trippy.
Yeah, I was tripping
entirely
balls.
trippy.
Yeah.
And then when like the sigils started popping up, they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it's a dragon!
Also, the sigil, if you notice, correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But usually it's the stag, right? It's the Baratheon
At
stag
first
that you
see the animals fighting a dragon, and
Right.
then
Right.
it ends on all the animals bowing to a
to a stag.
Yeah,
But this time it was a dragon.
yeah, it was a dragon again.
Yep.
Just not me.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
Well, she's already there, so yeah.
I mean, yeah. That's the cool thing.
But
about
it could
the,
be John.
It could
who's
be Jon
also a
because Jon is a
Targaryen.
Targaryen
Yeah,
now.
which we'll get to.
Right.
Yes.
It's a dragon wolf.
Dragon Wolf.
Dragon Wolf.
What does that look like?
It's
I
a
know.
Dolph. Or Drolf.
If anyone
like
wants to
Sharktopus.
draw us
Dragon.
what
Yeah.
a dragon wolf might
It's
look
just
like.
a dragon with
Share it
fur.
with us.
Calm down.
It's a hairy.
I
Oh,
would
I
like
know
to
what a
say
dragon
dragon
wolf looks
Falcor.
like.
Falcor.
I got you, bro.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
You got that one.
I know.
We all like, looked at each other. We
So much excitement.
That was like a hive mind moment. Wow.
Oh man.
Look around you.
Oh god.
Yeah. But yeah, I like this episode overall. I think it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of exposition, but I don't know. I guess my expectations weren't huge because I just wanted to see everybody again, and I was fine with everything. Actually, there were a few things.
It was like,
but
yeah. I mean,
Overall.
it started off as like a meet and greet, right? We have
Right.
like the entire brigade of soldiers and Daenerys and Jon and not Melisandre, but Missandei,
Missandei.
Grey Worm, and Gendry, all of them just parading straight into Winterfell. And then Sansa, of course, says like, Winterfell is yours, your grace. And like, it seems like the titular tension between our allies now is whether or not Daenerys deserves to take over the North, because
Right.
Jon just basically willingly gave it over to her. And that's kind of like culminated in the question that Sansa asks, which is, did you bend the knee to her because you wanted to save us or because you love her?
Can it not be both?
That's true.
He just wanted to fuck, get his dick wet.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Targaryen.
We do know that Jon has a history of doing that.
And she did get to. Did you guys remember when that last episode of season 7 came out? And like, I guess she wasn't expecting to get 6 inches of snow. Because winter is here.
Winter is here.
Christ.
I'm sorry. I
Wow.
thought that was clever as shit when I first read that.
Yeah. So
Oh my
good.
6
God.
inches of snow.
Oh man. Oh man.
It's funny.
Yeah. But
Not anymore because it's a Targaryen.
Oh.
This is on. Yeah.
what else happened?
Well, can I just say that some of you who may not know, I had been avoiding season 7 for literally 2 years. So these guys forced me to binge watch season 7 right before. I was literally here at PwC for a writing class that I was in charge of producing. Please don't tell the others this.
You're saying this
You're
on
saying
publicly in a video that will be preserved forever.
Okay, so what happened was there was a flash flood and
What
the
had
entire
happened was-
place got destroyed and I had to hightail it out of there.
To watch Game of Thrones.
And so I timed it out perfectly. I went home, finished the last episode, which is an hour and a half long, hightailed it to the party, made it just in time for episode 1 of
Right,
season 8.
right.
So it was like straight in, like there was no gap.
Like
and-
Jon
It's all meant to
Snow.
be.
Nothing.
Right.
Was that a reference to 6 inches? 6 inches of
inches.
snow?
6
of
inches.
snow.
Oh God! Why not 7 though? Why are we
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
settling
yeah.
for
I
6?
didn't make the meme.
Why are we
I don't
setting
know.
it short?
Or 8. Anyways,
Yeah.
it is
12.
season 8. Okay.
Foot of snow.
I'll talk about my reservations towards the end. Let's go through some important plot points that were revealed. So the
Yeah.
Tarleys were burned. Sam finally finds out that Daenerys
Right.
offed his beloved brother and not so beloved
But also,
father.
John finds that out.
Yeah, and so Samwell Tarly goes right after finding out this information and tells Jon, you are the heir to the Targaryen dynasty. You have a greater claim to the throne than your lover lady does. Furthermore, you gave up your crown for your
Right.
people. Do you honestly think that she would do the same?
Raises questions.
Mhm.
So Daenerys is a villain now. What do you guys think? Villain
Well,
arc?
She's
Are
a
we
villain
seeing
in the
that?
making. She's a villain in the making. Like, time will tell whether or not her supposed claim to the throne is more important to her than her original ideals, which made her
Breaking the
rise to the
wheel.
top,
Mhm.
breaking the wheel, being that heroine that we all sought after, who would break chains and free
Right.
people.
At least when we still liked her character.
When we liked her character.
Am I the only one who's like, dude, she's not nearly as likable as she was back in
she's
season
not.
No.
one.
Because they've been like kind of subtly like pushing that.
So I think
yeah.
they don't want her to be as likable anymore. Starting with season 5 when she started burning the masters.
She's
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, she's
They've been seeing
she's
literally-
so hard-headed,
Yeah.
you know?
it's not
like,
just, but she's also understanding that she has to be a queen. Like
yes.
she, like she said, she has to come from a strength, of, a position of power before she can make change. Like you can't always just be like such a pushover. And I think it's because of what happened at Slaver's Bay, and like she gave so many people so many chances, and they
Right.
burned her.
I mean, I don't think Daenerys has ever been a pushover, you know, save for like the beginning parts
very
of season
beginning
1.
of season 1.
But, you know, her character arc in season 1 is her strongest one because it shows the transition from this poor girl who's been bossed around by her abusive brother her whole life to the Khaleesi of the Dothraki tribe. And so I don't think that's her problem, being a pushover. She's always dug her heels down when she truly believes in, you know, whatever it is that she's trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and me and Jen were watching this video essay earlier, like her main problem, aside from the fact is that she might actually be going mad like her father,
Right.
is that she's got too much hubris. She's overconfident.
Definitely.
And she's
Yeah.
she's everything's too black and white from her. Even her advisors are telling her, like, you need to consider other variables. Sometimes mercy
Right.
is the option
Mhm.
because you piss off your allies when you're so bullheaded about whatever it is that you're trying
Absolutely.
to accomplish.
And that's what
Right?
got Rob killed, you know? Like when he killed off the car Starks. Like acting.
Yeah, because that was dishonor speaking, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Like when you allow yourself to be blinded to what actually
your
is
ideals, yeah.
and be inflexible,
Yeah.
then like consequences occur.
That's what got Ned killed
Right.
too. So.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it shows again and again, and that's why Jon has he's breaking out of it. He sees there's
Right.
nuance. At least he did in earlier seasons, but now he's so,
viewed
yeah.
as the betrayer because of it, you know.
Yeah.
And now like the Northerners are also starting to suspect him because they're like, we named you King of the North. Why
Yeah, you just
are
gave
you
it up.
not?
Yeah, when Lyanna Stark stepped up. I was
Right.
like,
And Northerners
Yeah.
are like traditionally stubborn, you know? So like they're not gonna even Tyrion says something about
Can I just
Can we
like
just talk about that for a whole
yeah?
Okay, let's
I'm
do
glad you
this.
read my
that
mind.
opening scene
Is that-
when everybody's marching into Winterfell
And then
Grey Sunday
Worm
and
and-
Grey Worm,
Sunday,
the black people are like on their horses.
I was
and
like-
everyone's throwing them hella shady looks.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's like a parade in Kentucky. Or
Yeah,
something.
you
No
look like you
offense,
never seen a
Kentuckians,
black
but,
person before.
I was like,
Yeah.
man.
oh,
And like the Northerners are not open to.
this
to
reminds me of
foreigners.
living in
Yeah.
Irvine.
Oh, boy.
I thought that was so funny. Yeah.
Oh, dude,
So
that,
awkward,
I didn't
yeah.
even think about that.
You didn't
That's
see-
Oh, you didn't
man,
catch
that
that?
was so
Yeah.
First thing I
uncomfortable.
saw.
And like
Oh,
I just love the look.
People
that,
were like giving them nasty
Missandei-
looks.
yeah.
Missandei and like Grey
Yeah.
Worm look,
Because
they
I was
gave
like,
each
I know
other
that
like.
They
look.
were like-
I know that look. I know it.
Shit.
Every-
They're like,
Everybody
I
at
guess
this
we're
table
staying in
knows that
Winterfell
look.
most this time.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Yeah. And that goes to show like the North is not friendly to outsiders. They're not over the moon about this some invasion by this foreign queen, and Jon is going to have to suffer from that.
Yeah.
Even Tyrion is starting to think twice about Daenerys. He didn't like the fact that she burned the Tarleys. Sansa is very clear, you know, whether she says it or not, about what she thinks of Daenerys. Even Arya was mentioning some stuff. Like,
Arya was basically telling him like, I'm on the side of family,
Yeah.
and you need to remember where your family
right,
priorities lie.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And I think-
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
just Sam.
I can't remember if it was which one of you said it, but when I think one of you guys mentioned that like this seed of possible like if you want to be a queen, act a queen. What was
Oh
it?
yeah. It was
if you
me.
want a whore, pay
No.
for it?
No.
No, be the dragon.
Be the dragon.
Oh,
Yeah.
I talked about
It was
this.
that was you, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
because
um,
Olenna Tyrell
Right.
tells Daenerys
Oh
like,
yeah.
don't be a sheep. You're not sheep. Be a dragon. You know.
But maybe she said that
I
knowing
know.
that it would fuck her over.
I think
yeah.
Right.
like it may have been a seed to like spark that hubris that Daenerys does have in thinking that she's all powerful, and perhaps she has been all powerful. She's been kind of a little bit Mary Suing like for
the
several
whole
seasons.
time she's had plot armor.
Yeah.
even in the
Yeah.
books.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
I'm
there's
trying to-
consequences to that.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of like when you said that, I was trying to think of like what kind of advice she was giving her daughter, but at the same time, her daughter, when she was
Marjorie?
Marjorie,
Yeah.
and
Rest in peace.
what kind of advice she was giving her, but at the same time, Marjorie was in a different position in a very precarious
She didn't hold that
marriage.
much power.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they were very sly about stuff. So I'm wondering if
that was the
it
wrong
was
piece of
to create
advice.
a seed of this, the seed that'll cause chaos later, or she understood like she liked seeing this woman in power that could be overthrow these this family that she really hates,
Right.
the Lannisters,
Yeah.
and so
Right.
she's like, yeah, you
That's what
need
you
to
need to
have
do.
power
Yeah.
because the people will only respect you if you can overpower the Lannisters.
But like this entire group of people, the entire group that Daenerys brings with her to Dragonstone to meet around that round table, they're all there to enforce the same manner of rule that has dominated them for centuries.
the wheel,
Right?
Yeah.
The wheel,
Right.
basically. And Daenerys' vision is to break the wheel, but she has no real practical application to do so. So it's
And I
it's
really-
hard when she's receiving advice from
Right.
people who only operate from that mode of political judgment.
And in my analysis is gonna be that I think Jon is gonna refuse to announce or say anything. He wants to keep this a secret 'cause
About his
Targaryen.
that he's
truth.
part
Okay,
Targaryen.
yeah.
That that's his
But
aunt,
he's
He has claim to
auntie.
the throne, right?
and
But
that
his
he
aunt's younger than him, right?
and yeah, I
Like
think
a
so.
year. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
And I
she
think
is.
like he's okay with not being like the king. He didn't even, like he said, he didn't even want to
didn't
be
want
the
to be
king
the
of the
king,
north.
yeah.
Right.
But he did it as a responsibility,
Mhm.
and basically he's like, hey, if I can be a house husband, I'm cool with that. And ride my dragon all day, whatever.
Oh God.
Whoa, hang on.
I was waiting for the ride the dragon jokes and
Yeah.
And
voila.
No, but like I think he's okay. But and hopefully, if let's say if they do hook up, which we can talk about that next, about like the matchmaking that people are trying to do with them,
Like if they marry.
not knowing that they're already hooking up.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's a
That
Korean
I
drama.
think, yeah, with the fact that like he's already experienced several different forms of government, like the wildlings form of government,
The
you know,
Night's
Right.
Watch.
the Night's Watch form of government.
Something more
His-
democratic.
the monarchy
right.
that then and so hopefully he can give her other examples and they can like I think when we were talking about future predictions, like I said, I think they'll break the wheel and they'll have some form of democracy.
That is your
Oh,
that was
I
your
forgot
prediction
about
from
that.
like 2 weeks ago, right?
Right.
You know,
Or 3 weeks
No
ago.
one's gonna be in the throne.
I'd be very surprised if that does happen because that's a little too smart. I feel like I don't know the way that they've been writing Daenerys' dialogue. I feel has been so one note because all she talks about is her power, her birthright, and her claim to the
It's like
throne.
there's
It's
nothing
true.
else. It's so
Yeah.
one-dimensional.
There hasn't been any
I mean,
nuance in her. Like,
No,
Yeah.
no.
Well, yeah, she
Not
is
at
starting
all.
to sound like Aegon when you know,
Right.
like when he was in the beginning of the series too, which is again book.
You mean
book
Eris
or no, her brother.
Viserys.
Her brother?
Viserys.
Oh,
Viserys.
Viserys.
Sorry.
Yeah.
She's almost starting to sound
like
like
he's starting to
Viserys.
sound like
Yeah.
Viserys, like it's like about throwing
some
like
crazy
I'm
shit.
back.
my crown. My,
So it's
yeah.
kind of always it kind of bookends now, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
the beginning of the show, it's like instead of Arya climbing up trying to look at this procession, is
You mean
this
Bran?
no,
The Bran
was it Bran who was? Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry,
Bran.
Bran was looking at the procession, and Arya was hiding in this crowd.
Mhm.
But in the first episode of this season 8,
It's a
there's
little
this
boy.
like stranger boy like running
Yeah.
around.
Right.
Mhm.
So it mimics a lot of the similarities that episode 1, season 1 had.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah. There was a similarity. Arya wasn't there when they officially received the queen. Someone says, "Where's Arya?"
Right.
Yeah.
And that's I think Sansa is the one who says it
Yeah,
way back in episode 1 of season 1. They go, "Where's Arya?"
Yeah.
And she's running around with a helmet on.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, they did that again." I like
So
how they did that.
but I like how she was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, she's doing.
She was just
She's like she's
She's
off
doing
off
something
somewhere.
being weird.
Yeah.
Didn't
So-
they say she was being weird or something?
I mean, that's what she always does. Yeah.
Yeah.
She just runs away.
So
yeah.
we originally thought that the boy who was crucified by the Night King, right, with
Was
all
the
the
little
limbs
boy,
splayed
yeah.
around him,
Yeah.
was going to be the little boy from the start of the show. But turns out it's been confirmed that that little boy is Lord Umber,
Yeah. It's
Right?
Lord Umber.
Yeah.
which is very sad.
Which was scary as F,
Yeah,
too.
That was some
That moment.
fucking-
yeah, when the eyes opened up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Oh yeah, like in the background.
The background
because
behind
it was-
Tormund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
But it was funny, like
Back
you guys, was it you or the other people there? Because a few of us
Somebody-
in the group were
Somebody
like,
noticed first.
Yeah,
I
like,
noticed
we
it,
were in
yeah.
the back. We're like, what's her
Someone
name's
noticed the
husband?
eyes.
with
Krisha.
Randy.
Someone was
Randy.
like, "Oh,
like we're back
hell
there. We're like, ooh. And then the other people are like, what?
What's
Ooh,
going on?
and then it's like more and more people.
Sorry, noticing.
He just waved.
You
Just
just
waved
waited
with
for it.
recognition. Like,
Did not
oh,
see.
and then screaming.
Yeah.
Whoever did the sound design on that scream.
Oh, it was
Ooh,
piercing.
yeah.
So like, watch out, his eyes are blue. He's like, my eyes have always been blue.
Tormund's
Dolores
great,
Ed,
That was
dude.
funny. Yeah.
Oh my God,
I love
so
that
good.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we have
God.
a
So
comment
well
in the
cast.
chat
Yeah.
about Daenerys
Uh-huh.
from C Wing 1028.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Targaryen taught to how to rule by the Dothraki and can be very dangerous if she feels slighted. I was mad at the
Mm.
Northerners for not being grateful for an army and 2 dragons. They have zero chance without them, food supply or not.
Mm.
And she has nothing in its place. She's a conqueror, not a ruler.
I was going to bring that up, actually. Very good point. I was going to tell you, Walter, when you were talking about like different forms of rule, conquering is not the same as ruling.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
for
And she's
sure.
shown that she is as good of a conqueror as Aegon was in the very start, which
conqueror?
took over
Yeah, clearly.
Westeros and established the Targaryen dynasty for thousands of years to come.
Yeah.
However, how did they establish that dynasty for thousands of years to come? There must have been some
and
form
fire.
of rule. Exactly.
So
Was it
it's
fire and
just-
blood? Is there no way for her to break the wheel unless she like simply just
forces everyone.
reinstates
Yeah.
the Westerosi rule the same way that it's always been?
Well, you would have to destroy the whole monarchy.
Right.
Right.
Which is the entire premise of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so she wants to completely overhaul their form of government and then establish what?
To break
Just
the
a-
wheel, you have to destroy all the spokes.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
she's
even
gonna
know
be like a
if she-
dictator. Like, what's
Right.
it gonna look like? That's the question.
Yeah.
Right.
And they never really go into it.
Well, I mean, yeah, she left Marine. Because she can't rule Marine.
She
She's
that
like,
that was a total fuck up. And also,
Yeah.
she's not gonna have children. So the passing
So
on to
she-
the line of succession.
yeah, I think she can't have children. She's just taking the word of this witch.
Right.
No, I think that we're meant to believe she really is not gonna have progeny, and they need to figure out what's gonna happen.
Did she not
next.
address that in an earlier season? I think she actually brought it up at
They
some point.
did. I mean, some people are saying like at this point it's kind of late. They should have
Right.
addressed
Well,
it
like
earlier.
yeah, like was it Jon Snow or someone else who said like, oh, so you're taking the word of a witch that tried to kill you, that you can't have
Oh right.
kids.
Oh, that was.
Oh,
last
yeah,
season.
that was mentioned.
Yeah. So it's like
yeah.
Jon Snow may have planted a seed in her.
Yeah. But I mean,
Literally.
having progeny is also something in the future.
A
We're talking about right
seed.
now and how she rules. I mean, that thing about that the commenter said about her taking inspiration from the Dothraki, that's another thing, right? Like when she was
Absolutely.
married off, she was a very impressionable young girl,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just a preteen, and everything that she's learned about through conquerors.
Yeah.
And the Dothraki are basically like
They're
land
bloodthirsty,
pirates,
yeah.
But
you
it-
know?
And I mean, I kind of see what her point, or sorry, I don't know if that's a female or a male,
Yeah, I
but
don't
like,
See,
but at the same time, I think she learned what not to do too. Like I think a lot
Sure.
of us have seen like grown up with the way certain things are, and was like, we don't exactly mimic it, but we're just like, okay, I know what I don't like or not to
Sure.
do.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's how she started ruling to a degree, because she knew that
Right.
this was not cool. Like that's why she told the
Yeah.
I'm blanking out the pirates,
Greyjoys.
Greyjoys. Be
Right.
like, don't loot and don't pillage and rape people anymore,
Yeah.
because
Right.
that's what the Dothraki was doing.
She's also telling the slavers, don't enslave, but without like enacting any
giving
way
them like
of
an alternative.
stopping
Yeah,
slavery.
like
Tyrion had to,
Well, yeah, that's why Tyrion's
work
there.
out a deal
Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
on her behalf.
But that's what makes me feel like she just kind of she has an idea and she spews
Right.
it out and she's like, this is how it is. And to me,
Like
in
most,
real
like
life,
most CEOs.
real politics, that's not the sign of a good leader. When I see her, it's difficult for me to reconcile the young girl in like seasons 3 and 4 who cares about the suffering of the slaves.
Absolutely.
There's always been a through line of humanitarian character.
Right.
She's always been a humanitarian. She's
Yeah.
Misa.
Yeah.
There's a reason they call her mother. And the Daenerys we see now, who is so
is not a mother.
she's not. She's like
a
power
conqueror.
hungry megalomaniac.
Yeah.
And
She's like snippety too.
and like I know, like we were talking about this earlier, when she could like look Sam dead in the face and say
Like cold.
coldly, I mean, I offered your father to retain his title and lands if he'd bend the knee, but he didn't, so I killed him and your brother too. And God bless. What's the name of the actor who plays Sam?
I always forget.
Holy shit,
But
his
he
acting,
wrecked it, yeah.
he wrecked it.
so
Yeah.
good.
So good. Like
In
his
character,
lip was
yeah.
quivering, and she looks kind of like, sorry, like
know.
sorry, not sorry. And then even when he leaves and says, "Thank you, Your Grace," she looks at Sir Jorah like,
I don't know.
couldn't have done anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
she did give him a choice.
I know, but
I mean, to be fair, the dude was a dick. He was like, "You can't
Yes.
send me to the,
Yes,
you can't
he
send me
was.
to the north. Or
Right.
you're not my queen." Blah blah blah. Like he was
Dick on
literally
Tarly.
doing everything to push her to like torch him.
Yeah. I mean, our commenter basically said she indirectly created the Sons of the Harpy, which is so true.
It's true.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
going to
the
get
Sons of the
flack for
Harpy-
saying this,
yeah.
but this is how Americans help embolden ISIS.
wait, what?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Hold on.
Whoa.
We're going
Anyway,
down that
I'm-
rabbit
we're
hole.
Pulling
going
the
down
string.
that
This says
political
how
radical hole.
Americans embolden ISIS. How
Well,
so?
Right. Well, I mean, like during that war.
There is a lot of theories that that whole continent, it really is
Marine.
meant to be
Or yeah.
The Middle East.
Iraq war.
The
Oh, because
Slaver's
we
Bay.
handed them
Right.
weapons.
So,
Is
for
that-
instance, the same themes,
like
like
the
So-
Taliban.
the
Yeah.
themes of like the White Walkers
Yeah.
represents climate change.
Yeah, I know
Right.
that. Yeah.
Marine, all of that has been very, very theorized.
There's
that
definitely
it's
shadows of
that.
definitely
Right.
like Iraq, Middle East.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
All
doubt
that
that.
stuff.
And
Like
how
it's definitely
our
shaded.
So
involvement-
Gurm
Right.
has,
Yeah.
he's using that to sort of
As a
paint it.
metaphor.
Yeah, this
Wait,
is
so,
a
but
metaphor.
I just want to know what's the parallel between us and the Middle East
Isn't-
and Daenerys and Marine?
As in, like, in our idealism, we go in to fight a war for somebody else,
Create
not
a
knowing that
power vacuum.
we are actually emboldening the people who would later turn against
Right.
us.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with the Sons of the Harpy. The Sons of the
Exactly.
Harpy are actually, because I know for a while they're like, who are the Sons of the Harpy?
Right.
They ended up being like
Masters.
they were the masters,
Yeah.
basically,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Like-
Well, they were the masters and
Or-
some of their slaves
Their
who
slaves
liked
who-
being
Right,
a slave
exactly.
or
Yes,
whatever. They
okay.
were the house slaves, right?
Right. Well, it goes back to the whole thing where she broke the wheel, but she had nothing to put in its place.
Right,
Exactly.
Right. And,
So-
that's
And
what
a
I mean,
wagon
that's
can't
not a good
move
leader.
without wheels.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You also can't
Yeah.
reinvent the wheel either. So it's a very good metaphor.
I'm gonna break the wheel.
Yeah, break the wheel. Like, what are you going to roll around on?
A sled.
Yeah. That's a brand.
We'll just go back in technological history.
No, sometimes I just look at Daenerys
Well-
like,
Hoverboards.
Let me
so
let me
pretty.
pose a question to you guys.
Sure.
All right, a question.
You guys talk about how she's gonna break the wheel.
Hmm.
I think the Night King's gonna break the wheel.
He already
'Cause
has.
basically he's gonna kill everybody,
Oh
and
my
there's not gonna be
God.
anything left.
Rodney.
No,
Our
that's not
producer's so
satisfying.
fatalistic.
So you're saying
Wait,
that-
should we
Well, the
should we
thing
repeat
is,
what
you're
he
talking
said?
about Game
Well,
of
no, he's on mic.
Thrones.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about the Game of Thrones, right?
Right.
There's
Uh-huh.
nothing ever. He's always fought against tropes.
Right.
Mm.
So you're
So
saying
if there's
The
somebody
dungeon
sitting on the
master.
throne at the end, that's the most tropey of tropies,
So you're saying
there-
right?
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
No, no, you go. Yeah.
I was gonna say. So you're saying the White King is like America, bringing
Wait,
freedom
what?
to the land of Westeros.
So that there's no more monarchy.
Or climate change is gonna kill all of humanity,
Right.
And therefore,
and therefore take
America.
take
create
back the
equilibrium
world.
again.
There's a
Oh my
like
God.
a small group of humanity left
This
that
is
has to
so scary.
repopulate the world,
Oh
and
no.
like with a new whatever.
Well, they'll
system
just
that they
they'll
can
just
run.
wipe.
Yes.
No, they're just
They'll
gonna
just
wipe
go to
out
East
Westeros.
Essos.
They're
Yeah.
just gonna
Yeah,
wipe
they're
because they
still
can't
Essos.
cross
or
the
Some
sea.
Safirios.
Safirios.
right.
Yeah.
So it's really just
South
wiping
of
out
For
Westeros.
now, they can get the Greyjoy fleet and maybe ship themselves over.
What's
can't
funny?
row.
I saw a meme. You know that meme? Oh God, what's the dude from SpongeBob SquarePants? His boss. What's his name?
Oh,
Krabby,
the crab.
Krusty Krab.
Oh no,
owner?
I'm sorry, not the skinny one.
Squidward.
Squidward.
Okay.
Where he's like sunbathing and then like he like takes off his sunglasses. And
Speak-
Get to the mic.
oh, sorry. He's sunbathing, looks over into the distance, and then just goes back to what he's doing. That's Essos right now, looking at Westeros.
Look at
Look at all that stuff
literally,
going
like,
on.
They're
Westeros is having this like apocalypse type
You're
battle with all the forces of humanity against these supernatural beings.
Right.
And did we forget there's also so many other people on the planet
Yeah.
who are not a part of this battle?
Right. Right.
Like
right.
there will
just,
be.
They're just looking at the
Suffers.
pigeon messages and they're eating popcorn.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
They're screwed.
yeah, Michael Jackson like eating popcorn.
It's-
That's literally what that is. Yeah.
so
Oh,
do you think
man.
on Essos there are sandwalkers?
What?
Sad.
I mean, there's no. They actually no. They
Sandwalkers.
have the grayscales to worry about.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They, do.
Yeah.
They have.
Don't even
their-
get me
their
started
boogeyman-
on that.
They're
boogeyman.
having a
Plot thread.
pandemic. We're
They're
having an
grumpkins.
apocalypse.
Well, if
Yeah.
you have you guys read the World of Ice and Fire?
I've not read it yet.
Oh my God. George R. R. Martin's universe is huge.
Right.
We only know a fraction of his
Huge.
huge. There's
Huge.
so many
Huge.
cultures and histories and countries.
Yeah,
and
there's still
creatures.
the whole eastern side
There's
of
a southern
The southern
continent called
continent?
Safirios.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then other continents as well.
and then the Great Desert.
yeah,
So-
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh right.
Well, the episode.
Oh yeah, I forgot we're talking about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I know. We can just talk about Game of Thrones
There's
in
so
general
many
forever.
things.
Um,
What did you guys think of the reunions? Did you? Were,
I
were you
don't
as
know.
underwhelmed by them as I was?
I was whelmed. Again,
man.
like I'm weird where like I intend like my every intention going into any piece of media is like I want to stay even keeled. Like whenever I watch anything, no expectations, no no wishes for what is going to happen. So I was okay with it. I was fine.
That's
just
the way to
whelmed.
live life, really.
I in fact
Okay.
I
Such a stoic.
liked the reunion between Arya and Jon simply because it happened.
Mhm.
I was like, finally. I just wanted to see them in a situation where I just wanted them to see each other again. It doesn't matter in like how it happened. I just needed them to see each other.
And they were actually exuberant.
Right.
Like, which was very nice to see in a very dire circumstance that they're currently in. So it was nice to see that was like completely genuine.
Although, I mean, it's like let's talk about that little. John was like, "Hey, I could have used your support or your help with Sansa, and my
Sansa, right.
girlfriend," and and then Arya all of a sudden was like, "No, Sansa's the smartest
No,
girl I know."
I know.
Like all of a
Is she
sudden
though?
siding with Sansa.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Well, they helped kill Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Right.
together.
So they had a bond, but like now it's like, John's like, I thought you were on my side.
I know there's a little bit
Well,
of
she's saying-
There was a little bit of like,
Yeah.
oh, that's
what's
weird.
going on?
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I in John's head, I feel like it was unexpected resistance.
Right.
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
right.
You're supposed to like melt into each other. We haven't seen each other in
know.
like 10 years.
It's like, you don't like my girlfriend too?
Actually, to me, John looked more emotional than Arya did. That was a point where I thought he was actually crying when he
I
hugs
think,
her.
yeah, I definitely think he was.
And then they're just like compare swords. Like,
I know.
my
Such-
sword's longer.
such bros.
Jealous.
It's totally
For
such
me.
a
They were
dude thing to
totally like
do,
comparing
man.
swords. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me, like when, like if you had a new like a screaming stick, if I had one of those made out of Kamagong, you would be like,
Yeah,
oh,
I'd be
man,
like,
look
that's
at this
nice.
thing.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I would be like, if you did the same thing, I'd be like, damn, dude, this is crazy. How did you make this big?
Valerian.
Yeah, I know.
Valyrian
yeah.
steel. Ooh, nice.
Barely
that's
steel.
steel, though.
Oh, look at this. This Campilon? Fuck.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
But anyway, so we
yeah.
have 1 minute left to talk about this, but we still didn't crack that thing
one?
about how do we feel about the seasons moving forward and how storytelling is going in the last season until now.
I give up.
I
There's
don't
too many
know.
feelings to fit into this episode about how
I like the episode just because I feel like it's a first episode setting everything up. It's necessary, and I thought it was cool. So
I feel like we're not going to get a lot of the political machinations.
there is no more.
No,
yeah,
there
is
are
no,
none.
This is the
Yeah.
end of the road,
See, now we're going into it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not.
as boys to men would say.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's no
There's-
longer the
it's
Game
not
of
Game of
Thrones.
Thrones.
Right.
It's not the
it's
Game of
wrap
Thrones.
up this freaking
It's
show,
the
HBO.
end Game of
yeah.
Thrones,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like literally, it's also not the Game of Thrones
No. It's the
anymore.
end
No.
of
The
Thrones.
Game
It's
of
the
Thrones,
end of Thrones,
was
yeah.
the second book in A Song of Ice and Fire. It's
no,
no
it's
longer
the first one. A Game of Thrones.
Oh, Game
is
of
the
Thrones.
first
Yes,
one.
the
Yeah.
first one. Second
Yeah.
one is
Clash of Kings.
Clash of Kings.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry, but yeah. So it was the very first book, and that starts in a completely different place than where we are right now, which is like climate apocalypse.
You could say it is still a Game of Thrones because of the Night King, right? He
Right.
will have dominion over Westeros.
That's an artistic interpretation, I feel. But yeah, I really am looking forward to how Winterfell will be embracing, or most likely not embracing,
Not embracing.
Jamie Lannister's
Yeah.
arrival.
Oh yes, he's gonna be on trial, right?
That's
in the
gonna
next
be
episode?
fun.
Because Bran is there sitting and saying, "I'm waiting for an old friend."
Oh yeah,
I am
bookends,
Bran.
bookends,
Bran.
right?
Uh-huh.
Don't you
Yeah.
guys love?
I am Bran.
1001.
Like, oh, you're a man now.
He was
Yes.
like a Dalek,
yeah, he's like
just wheeling around on that thing.
Oh my
Jimmy
God.
Lannister, the enemy of the Starks.
I gotta show you guys this video.
Destroy.
Yeah.
That was a Dalek.
Doctor
Oh.
Who reference.
Oh Jesus! But
Destroy.
anyway, so
Destroy. Excellent.
Destroy.
Sorry.
so
Sorry.
this is so funny because like Jamie is the enemy of nearly everybody there at Winterfell right now. He killed Daenerys's father.
Father.
How is she gonna react to that?
Well,
You know?
she does
Right.
know that
He
her
is the
father.
Kingslayer.
That's even in the
I think.
preview, right?
I think they'll have an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
You know.
I hope so.
yeah.
I hope for the show's sake
Yeah.
that they will have interesting conversations.
Yeah, well, I hope so too.
Will they execute him or will they let him fight for the
He'll
living?
live.
He needs to live.
He
I
needs
think
to
he'll
live so
live.
he can kill Cersei.
Right. He has to get it
Right.
to some point of redemption, I think.
Right.
Right.
And I know we're at, but real quick, that weapon that Arya gave to Gendry,
right.
I need to rewatch that scene. I don't
Right.
even remember.
Walter,
What do
you
you
had
think?
a theory about that.
I thought at first it was like a projectile, like a hidden projectile that that she'll use to shoot at someone, like as an assassin, like an assassin tool, either to get close to Cersei or to use on someone else in Winterfell. I'm not sure anymore, and also I paused it and I looked at the diagram.
You did.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure if it's like.
Obsidian.
Well,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like
it's obsidian.
black
The
teardrop
tip
up
is
top.
Right.
it's
So
an
it's
obsidian
dragon glass?
arrowhead. It's a dragon glass
Okay.
connected
So it
to something,
has to
but
be for the White
the way they
Walkers.
drew it though, it didn't look like it's spring loaded. There was no like. I mean, maybe she's just a terrible
Maybe she's
drawer.
a bad artist.
Yeah.
But why would Arya? Remember,
But
Arya
it's like
has
it just
a
said it,
lip.
insert it into that whatever. It's like a carrier, but it reveals. I don't
She
know.
just
so
wants a
It's like
vase,
a-
you guys.
It's like a momentum thing. Like she swings her arm up and it goes flying out.
I feel like or it could be like an assassin tree, like
yeah.
Spring loaded.
spike, obsidian
No.
spike comes out.
Speaking of
Yeah.
of the dragon glass, you see where they're like melting it down. and
Yeah.
burning into molds. I was
Right.
like, that doesn't
That
work.
does
not
not happen
how that happens.
to stone. That
No.
does not happen to stone. You just sharpen and forge.
just-
yeah,
stone.
you
no,
flake- you
magical
flake it.
physics.
Well, yeah, like in that WonderCon panel. Like,
yeah. Like,
it's
that's not how you create
magic.
a sword. Yeah.
If there's something that's you don't know that doesn't
Yeah.
work,
It's
it's
magic.
You
magic.
don't
Yeah.
forge stone. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Maybe Gendry learned some magic
Gendry's a very
blacksmithing. with,
talented
Gendry-
blacksmith.
I mean, it is
Yeah.
glass, technically. Volcanic
Yeah.
glass.
It is.
but-
Yeah.
I mean, technically, you just chip it.
You're
and
supposed to
you'll
flake
make,
it, right.
You'll
Yeah.
make an arrowhead
But
and you'll
it's
Right.
make
You
long
really
and
don't need to
arduous
melt
process.
it down.
Look, we could talk about
We
this.
can talk about this for another 2 hours,
Forever.
honestly. Yeah, there's so much to
Um,
unpack.
But we're getting to the end of this episode. We don't want to,
Yeah.
talk forever. What's up? So there's
Oh,
the.
we see it now.
Yeah.
It says dragon
glass.
glass.
and it goes in here. But that's it. Like, because for a second I thought there was like, for some reason I thought like, oh, maybe it'll spring load, but no, with the way it's drawn, it just goes in there, and then okay.
That's so
I don't know.
interesting.
Maybe
like
it's something
pseudo-
where.
Are you
Flask?
using it to
Yeah.
hide? Is it a flask?
I know what's in there.
It's
I
really a
think
flask
It's
of
where they
dragon
hide their
glass top.
drugs, okay?
Yeah. I think it's an envelope
She
opener.
just didn't know how.
really
She just,
simplistic.
she just didn't know how to draw shoots this way.
No, you have to draw lines and
it's
then like
shooting the
these
wrong
like
way.
hashes.
You don't shoot it back inside of its holster.
She's
What
like,
if
it's
it's-
a
That's where the
flask
arrow is
for my
going.
Coke.
But look, there's like a leather thong at the end.
Yeah,
right?
what's that all about?
So
I think
is
they
that
just want
mean
to.
is that a
the
sling?
Belt, that's the
Oh,
belt
I
clip.
know, right.
I was thinking, like, you're just gonna.
she's got a carabiner.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
It could be something where like, you stab something and
It returns back to the helm.
or it just detaches so you don't get caught or it doesn't get
That's
stuck.
like,
Oh, I don't even
just
know.
really
We'll find out.
I'm
Yeah,
hoping
we'll
that
find
like
out.
soon.
spool thing is really meant to be like a spring.
Spring, right? I know.
Wait, this part?
Yeah.
Where the
Yeah.
twine
It
looking
looks
stuff.
Like the tip of a pencil,
Like a
the
paintbrush.
eraser.
Yeah.
Ferrule.
I mean, I guess we can say without art school, she did pretty well.
Anyway.
What did she? What did they draw with? Is it
Gendry
like
actually like just says, "Oh yeah."
Looks like graphite.
Gendry just says to her, "What would you do with a thing like that?" So it seemed as if he recognized what it was.
Yeah.
And like he was kind of just suspicious as to her motives for using that particular device.
Or maybe
cra-
he's
yeah.
like, what would you do with a thing like that? It looks useless.
Well,
No.
for Arya,
You're
remember,
lying.
it's all Arya's. It's a revenge arc. There's
I
still
feel like
someone on
it's-
her
yeah.
list, so her priority would not be the Night King.
I feel like it's an
Right.
assassin tool, and
It would be for like Cersei.
Cersei is my first guess.
Is Cersei the only one left on her list?
yeah.
no the Hound?
no,
She
no,
took
no.
the
She
hound
took the
off.
hound
She
off
took
a
it,
while
yeah.
ago.
The Mountain is still there. Qyburn.
But Clegane Bowl has to happen.
Right.
But I don't even know if it's gonna happen. Just
Please
like
let
many
it
things that I
happen.
don't know if are gonna happen anymore.
I just want to see Serial Pharrell again.
Yeah, and like all the other
Well,
people.
yeah, and then hopefully Braun doesn't.
Oh
Hopefully
yeah, follow
Braun
through,
doesn't-
right?
Hopefully
He's not
Braun
gonna
just.
do it.
I don't think he will.
He absolutely
no
not.
way.
They're trying to show all he used to care about was gold.
Yeah.
Now
That's his arc.
At the last second, he's gonna be like, "I can't do it."
Can't do
he
it.
cares too much about the brothers.
I just hope he takes
Mm.
that money and then goes up to Winterfell and be like, "Well, I'll fight anyway," and does something good with the gold that the card of gold he's got.
And then sings a new song.
He's got a great voice.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was a
absolutely.
pop star.
And then Ed
Yeah.
Sheeran comes out.
No.
I actually liked that scene, believe it or not. Huh? Predictions for the next episode.
Predictions for our next
episode. Ugh.
Earl, starting with you.
I think we kind of mentioned this already, but I think they're gonna let Jaime go. Like they're gonna let him fight. It's gonna be pretty contentious at first, but they're eventually because they need every hand they can get, right? And maybe he has he doesn't even have an army anymore, but
Who? Jamie?
Jamie.
He doesn't have shit right now.
yeah,
right?
he doesn't jack shit. But every hand in the fight is worth it. So they're gonna let him go, and I think we're going to. I think Sam is gonna push the whole Aegon thing, but at against Jon's will, and I don't know how it's gonna happen. But I think that's something that Samuel Tarly as a character wants to get out.
I think Melisandre has to make another appearance.
The
And
Red Woman.
Hopefully, yeah.
And this time, I think instead of making like false predictions, she and Bran are going to have to team up for the ultimate reveal of who the F is the actual
Night King.
Azor Ahai reborn.
But the problem is
Azor
Azor Ahai. They don't really address it that much in the show.
Right. It's going to be like out of left field.
It'll be.
Really?
I don't even know if they'll do it.
I feel like
Right.
well, they've already talked about the prince or prince who was promised.
That has been said.
Yeah,
Prince of the Prince.
which
that
is not
was
the same
promised.
as Azor Ahai, right?
That is the
Uh,
same.
Oh, okay. Well, is Azor
It's
Ahai a
unclear.
Lord of Light reference? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, then it is. Yeah. I
It
don't
is.
know.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was a prince born of light, which is why like she looks in the fire to see who is going to save them in the
Okay,
future.
yeah. They might do it then. Yeah.
So like I think like she and Bran will have to team up and play soothsayer and name one of them, which will stir further doubts. How do you think Dany is going to find out about Jon's true parentage?
she may never find out.
I think she has to.
You think someone will snitch?
I think Sam might do it.
23andMe,
You know, she
our
will find
producer
out, and
says.
she won't take kindly to it.
I don't
No,
think she will at all.
absolutely
And Jon will
not.
I
be
think,
like,
like,
"All right, you're a bitch."
The
Yeah.
headspace
Yeah.
that she's in right now,
Yeah.
at least like the way they're portraying her, she's not going to take
You
it.
She's
think
not
you
gonna
think
take it
she's
well.
gonna be like, let's stop boning?
Well,
Def-
obviously.
Oh my God, Walter, is that all you care about? My God.
I just
expected more.
going back to the Melisandre thing.
Yeah.
like Bronn and Jamie said, it's in the end, it's all about.
Right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That
Oh
you
my
guys remember
God,
way
you
back in
guys.
season 3 when Arya runs into Melisandre and she says, "We will meet again."
Right.
Mm,
So I do think, yeah, she's due for an appearance at Winterfell to meet up with Arya.
I think
It's
so.
going to happen
Brienne and Jamie still need to have their moments.
whenever that. They're
Well, after his trial.
Yeah. Or
yeah.
before.
Oh, Brienne might.
she's probably gonna defend
She
him.
might
She
champion
could
him.
champion
Yeah.
him
Oh,
in a-
trial by combat
Ooh. But that's like a
against the Hound again.
Oh, but
No, they're not gonna do that.
that's a the religion of a seven thing, and the North is very old gods.
Oh, it's true.
No, and also Brienne is
Yeah.
protecting Sansa, you know? So, like, Jamie
Ooh,
wouldn't be on the
conflict of
team
interest.
of Sansa.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But she might like
Yeah.
bear witness that
But she
no,
still
what he
loves him.
did, he was honorable.
Sure.
He saved my life when whatever captured me.
But
and
she's a knight, though. She swears allegiance to House Stark,
yeah,
so
but
she
can
wouldn't
still
fight for a
swear
Lannister.
allegiance, but she can still give witness that he's the.
I totally
She'll
want to
give
see a
witness,
trial
I
by
think.
combat.
Oh my God.
I mean, I think Jamie's gonna survive the trial. It's gonna be high drama,
Yeah.
high courtroom drama.
Yeah.
Tormund and them's gonna make it back to the castle, given the warning. As we kind of previewed.
Yeah.
I feel like Arya is gonna leave. She's gonna
Go
I-
for
and leave for
King's Landing?
King's
King's
Landing.
Mm,
I have a feeling she's gonna leave and she's not gonna stay for the battle
mm.
with the Arya.
Arya.
Because I don't. I mean, honestly, too, she's an assassin. She's not a warrior. She wouldn't be much use to a battle against Night King. I don't know, but I feel like
But if you remember the trailer, she's running.
no, but I think that running in the trailer, that was her. That she looked like as a kid. That was like the old, like one of the clip from like one of the older
Season one.
episodes.
Watch it again.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be her right before she leaves. Like, she's running away, and
I
She
think
seems
I
scared of
feel like that
something.
trailer.
Yeah.
That trailer was from season 1 or season. Yeah,
It
like
was?
Clips from season 1.
because she was like a lot younger in that clip.
No, it's her
We're-
from this season.
yeah,
In
I
the
know what you're
clip.
talking about. In the TV promo, it's
Yeah.
her grown up going through the crypts and
So that
being
was
followed. Yeah.
current
Oh.
footage.
That's current. Yeah, totally.
Okay,
She
because
just looks so
you
young.
thought
It's new footage.
No,
I thought it was-
somebody said it was like old footage.
Old
I thought it
footage.
was
To
Old
me, it
footage
looked-
is when she doesn't run through the crypts. She
Ever.
runs through the crypts of King's Landing. She runs through the dungeons.
Right.
We never see her running through the crypts of Winterfell.
Yeah.
In
Eh,
seasons,
okay,
yeah.
so either
Our-
way, I think she's gonna leave.
Somebody in
Winterfell.
chat, it's Seawing again, says she's in the crypts, bleeding, holding that spear.
What spear? This one?
The one that she's trying to craft with Gendry.
I guess
That was
so,
in the
yeah.
trailer.
We can watch that.
Wow, I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to look
later
at it
after,
again now. Like,
Wow. Yes, he says. She says. They say.
man,
New
Wow.
footage. Well, thank you, Seawing
What if
1028.
Arya's the one to assassinate the Night King?
I mean, whatever
Ooh.
she's thinking, that's like,
I mean, I know she's stealthy, but
right.
I don't know how you can get past all those.
Yeah, she's tiny and
Is that-
Unless you
Yeah,
catapult her
this is- right.
over.
She wears the face of one of the White Walkers.
Frozen
Yeah.
Does that work? Does
Shaun
the
of
House
the
Black
Dead.
and White have
They just
any
like
of those?
walk amongst the dead.
Like, yeah, like just wear their chunks on.
Yeah.
I know, like in Walking Dead.
Frozen, yeah.
When they walk through.
Yeah.
So they smell like zombies.
Yeah, man. And I mean, of course, it's gonna be the setup for the big war on episode 3.
Three,
But
Right.
Because that's
Battle of Winterfell.
It's probably going to be so many different battles in one.
Yeah.
So
How many
that's where
battles do you
she
think
is
they're
definitely
Okay,
holding
we'll see
something in
that.
her hand.
But I feel like that's not the one we saw
What's that
originally in
bright
the original
thing?
trailer. This isn't the.
No, this is from the Red Wedding. Oh no, it's not.
No, that's
No, this
definitely
is from the.
crypts.
But I'm saying, because this was
Oh, okay.
from the original before the season started. Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, she has something in her
Up
hand.
in the head.
No, notice too, she has
The Valyrian steel dagger. Yeah.
She has the Valyrian
Oh,
steel
okay.
dagger.
It's not the. Okay, it's not the dragon glass.
So it's
thing.
something
oh, no, but
else.
She has something in her right, her left hand.
Yeah.
Can we play some?
Can we
A
just
little
play
bit?
it, you guys?
It's a screenshot.
Oh.
Look,
Yeah. Well, I guess
Yeah.
we'll cover that next
We
week
shall.
because we're pretty much out of time.
Aw.
Thank
We could
you.
just keep talking.
I know
though.
we could literally talk
just
about this
keep
the
talking.
entire night.
Seriously, yeah, I could actually
Easy.
easily.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think we have
but-
hard drive space.
I know we don't have that kind of hard drive space.
Right.
Who has a 5 petabyte NAS? We don't.
Petabyte? What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Pedobite.
Petabyte.
Pedialyte.
But thank you everybody for joining us this episode for all our Star Wars talk. And
Game of Thrones.
they hate me. So follow us on PanGeekery on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. We're all there.
YouTube also.
YouTube, that's
Yeah.
right, and YouTube. That's where we'll be posting the archives of this live stream. Subscribe, leave reviews. Thank you to the cast and crew: Ken, Arnold, Rodney, Mark. Thanks, cast! Yay!
Yay! Thank you,
Yay.
and
Thank you,
thank you
guys.
all for watching.
Yeah, thank you
Yes.
so much.
Be sure to share because we're always looking for new geek
stay
followers.
tuned.
Share,
for next
comment,
week.
subscribe, follow.
More people talk. I mean, more people in chat, the better.
Honestly,
And next week we're going to be talking about more Game of Thrones because that second episode's coming back, and whatever cool stuff happens in the meantime in the rest of the geek
And
universe.
there's the poll.
yes.
And the
yeah,
poll.
the poll.
Death
Join the
pool.
poll.
Yeah.
Death pool.
The death pool. So check that out on our socials. Fill that out. Win these prizes. Win these Funko Pops, amongst other things, which we will find out later.
Dildos.
Whoa! That's exactly what I was thinking.
I want one.
Yes.
White
I'm
Walker
kidding.
themed
There are
dildo.
Game
no
of Thrones
dildos.
themed dildos.
Also,
6 inches of snow.
Yeah, a dildo made
Live
of
journal.
Dragon glass.
324. Dragon glass dildos. What?
I'm really amazed that these
That
don't exist.
and then
is
we'll throw in
dangerous
some milk of
AF.
the poppy
I
lube.
know,
How's that?
that's
yeah,
how you-
yeah.
A 55-gallon
Song
drum
of Ice and Fire lube
of
that like starts off
Milk of
icy
the
and
Poppy
then
Rated R,
goes
you
hot.
guys.
Anyway.
live journal.
Someone needs to make this. They'll make a lot of
They
money.
would. Oh,
Yeah.
Dragon titties?
Right.
Come on.
Dude,
man.
yeah.
Ride the dragon. A Sibian?
I'm just thinking, like, why is this only one
Right.
gender?
Y'all
Why,
know what that is.
Yeah,
Y'all know
yeah,
what
I
that
know
why
is.
the-
is it just
the
one
rabbit.
gender
Talking about the
toys?
But yeah, thank you everybody
That's
for
true.
joining. Thanks again to our sponsors, Jimmy John's and PwC. It takes a freak to make a sandwich that'll make you freak. PwC
Freak yeah.
stands for Filipino Workers Center, by the way.
Yeah.
So weird dress.
Yeah, I know. I just jumped back and forth between the two.
All right.
But yeah, join us next week, same time, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Tuesday nights, twitch.tv/PanGeekery. And good night.
Good night.
Adios.
Ba-ba-bum, bum, 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 PanGeekery Podcast, covering all things geek from an all-diverse perspective. Visit us online at www.pangeekery.com.